Now it's time for the world to see us rise. The world's biggest stage is calling, and for the first time, India has a way in. Now we rise as one. Qualify, compete, rise. Anyone can register, anyone can rise. Only your skill decides your destiny. And when you get there, the stage is bigger than the game. खेलेंगे एक साथ, मचाएंगे एक साथ, जीतेंगे एक साथ. Register now, only on Geo Games.
India Rising is here. 3 games, 1 arena, 0 mercy. Welcome to the biggest multi-title esports showdown of the year and your shot at competing on the biggest stage in gaming. Track 1 is the EWC official qualifiers, the competitive route, where you fight for official EWC qualification slot. Track 2 is the gaming festival show matches, an exhibition format where players compete for glory at the India Rising LAN finale. You can register for both. 2 tracks, 1 tournament. Track 1, 4 phases, 1 path to the LAN final, and ultimately a slot in the official EWC championship in Riyadh. Phase 1, open qualifiers. This is the open door. Anyone from anywhere enters a single unified bracket. Swiss format. Top performers punch through to phase 2. Phase 2, the titled qualifier. This is where titled players come in. They're joined by the qualifiers from phase 1, Swiss format again. Best players advance to the closed playoffs. Phase 3, Indian invitational players enter through invitation and compete in a Swiss format, with 4 finishers also heading 2 closed playoffs. The closed playoffs, 8 players total. 4 from the titled qualifier, 4 from the Indian invitation. The last one standing wins and earns the EWC slot. Track 2, India Rising Gaming Festival, featuring Mobile Legends and Valorant. 3 clean stages, open qualifiers, closed playoffs, and the LAN final. Show up, fight fast, make it count. Total prize pool, 45 lakhs. Registrations are now open at geogames.com/India-Rising. India, are you ready to rise?
Every champion was once unknown, Every legend started in a room like yours. All this while we watched the world rise. Now it's time for the world to see us rise. The world's biggest stage is calling, and for the first time, India has a way in. Now we rise as one. Qualify, compete, rise. Anyone can register. Anyone can rise. Only your skill decides your destiny. And when you get there, the stage is bigger than the game. खेलेंगे एक साथ, मचाएंगे एक साथ, जीतेंगे एक साथ. Register now. Only on Geo Games.
India Rising is here. 3 games, 1 arena, 0 mercy. Welcome to the biggest multi-title esports showdown of the year and your shot at competing on the biggest stage in gaming. Track 1 is the EWC official qualifiers, the competitive route, where you fight for official EWC qualification slot. Track 2 is the gaming festival show matches, an exhibition format where players compete for glory at the India Rising LAN finale. You can register for both. 2 tracks, 1 tournament. Track 1, 4 phases, 1 path to the LAN final, and ultimately, a slot in the official EWC Championship in Riyadh. Phase 1, Open Qualifiers. This is the open door. Anyone from anywhere enters a single unified bracket. Swiss format. Top performers punch through to Phase 2. Phase 2, the titled qualifier. This is where titled players come in. They're joined by the qualifiers from Phase 1, Swiss format again. Best players advance to the closed playoffs. Phase 3, Indian invitational players enter through invitation and compete in a Swiss format, with 4 finishers also heading 2 closed playoffs. The closed playoffs, 8 players total. 4 from the titled qualifier, 4 from the Indian Invitational. The last one standing wins and earns the EWC slot. Track 2, India Rising Gaming Festival, featuring Mobile Legends and Valorant. 3 clean stages, open qualifiers, closed playoffs and the LAN final. Show up, fight fast, make it count. Total prize pool, 45 lakhs. Registrations are now open at geogames.com/India-Rising. India, are you ready to rise?
Every champion was once unknown. Every legend started in a room like yours. All this while we watched the world rise. Now it's time for the world to see us rise. The world's biggest stage is calling, and for the first time, India has a way in. Now we rise as one. Qualify, compete, rise. Anyone can register. Anyone can rise. Only your skill decides your destiny. And when you get there, the stage is bigger than the game. खेलेंगे एक साथ, मचाएंगे एक साथ, जीतेंगे एक साथ. Register now. Only on Geo Games. Every champion was once unknown. Every legend started in a room like yours. All this while we watched the world rise. Now it's time for the world to see us rise. The world's biggest stage is calling, and for the first time, India has a way in. Now we rise as one.
Namaste India, welcome. It is day 2 of the qualifiers, the close qualifiers this time, and at stake is one spot for the EWC. And मेरे साथ है GM Srinath. Srinath bhai, welcome to the stream. So glad to have you here. I would love to get your expert thoughts today.
Definitely, Sahil. Excited to be back and super excited to look forward to the event. Look forward to how the games go, how the games unfold, and who gets to the top 2 today.
Srinath, I think this was a pressure situation yesterday. We had 2 qualifiers, the Indian qualifier and the open, the title qualifiers. You also participated in the Indian one. Can you tell us how was it? Did you feel a lot of pressure? Because we saw a lot of strong seeds lose games and then had to really fight back to the top.
Yeah, it was. I didn't feel a lot of pressure because I didn't have a lot of expectations, to be honest. I just wanted to have fun and play. But once I got to a decent start, I felt like I had a realistic chances, and then I got paired against Arjun, and I felt all the pressure. It was like being thrown into the ocean without a life jacket, and then of course things started to go the other way. But the pressure is definitely on, especially in an event like this where only one player takes the big prize. And I'm not talking about the cash prize, but I'm talking about the qualification to the Esports World Cup. You have 8 super strong players competing, but only one player is going to take that big prize. So a lot at stake, and obviously a lot of pressure comes with such high stakes.
You mentioned it, the first spot matters a lot. मुझे वो याद आ रहा है 3 Idiots movie, Shri bhai. We'll come to it, but I think let's have a look at all the questions you have chat, because event का format, timeline, सब कुछ explain करेंगे. Pranesh कैसे qualify explain करेंगे, and there you see it. First of all, chess के qualifiers 23rd and 24th में. We are already on day number 2. Shri, maybe you're going to play in some other games as well. Yeah, बता रहे थे पहले मुझे.
Yeah, I would love to play Valorant. I used to play it a long time ago when I used to stream, once upon a time, long ago, centuries ago. But I don't have a team right now. So if anyone is interested to pick me in one of the teams, I would love to join.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And of course, you're building up towards the live finals in Mumbai. 2 people are going to play there. Would be very, very interesting. And of course, who will be these 2? Is the decision we're going to come today, Shri. That's going to be super crucial. And if we move to the next slide, Shri, I think you mentioned this, the pressure building up in this event, India Rising, road to the EWC. And I kind of feel like यहाँ पे जितने भी top players हैं, they kind of made it at the end. But that final step today, right, to make it to the live finals is the toughest one, because you have the creme de la creme of Indian chess, of world chess, battling it out today for that one spot.
Absolutely. Some of the best esports, best chess players in the esports format that we have right now. Because Sahil, this 10+0 format, no, it's a little bit different without increment. It takes certain different kind of skills, and the players who are out there are definitely some of the best out there that we have, not just in India but amongst the world.
एंड ये है फॉर्मेट मेरे भाई दोस्तों, दिख रहा है सामने. पहले हमने करे बहुत सारे ओपन क्वालिफायर्स, सबको मौका मिला पार्टिसिपेट करने का. फिर हमने करे इंडियन एंड टाइटल क्वालिफायर्स, जो हमने कल इंडियन क्वालिफायर स्ट्रीम किए थे. एंड कई लोग पूछ रहे हैं प्रणेश कैसे क्वालिफाई करे थ्रू द टाइटल क्वालिफायर्स. वो एक बार अच्छा नहीं खेले, उन्होंने हार नहीं मानी. ही केम बैक, played against Shri, and then qualified. In fact, he finished first in the standings, if I'm not mistaken. So at the end, we have 8 players today, and उनमें से 2 ही इवेंट में रहेंगे आज के दिन के खत्म होने तक.
Yeah, Pranesh, showing that, like I just said, not just the best amongst the best players in India, but amongst the world globally. And the title play qualifier, that was what was different. and there we have the prize pool.
Oof. Shri, I mean, मैं कल भी बोला था, but I feel like मैं tempt हो रहा था खेलने के लिए यार. I almost wanted to play. After commentating yesterday, I wanted to play the title qualifier कि भाई मैं भी कोई claim करूँ 10 लाख के प्राइस के लिए. But then मैंने अपनी रेटिंग देखी, मैंने कहा रहने देते हैं.
And it's not just the first place of 10 lakh Sahil, but also just by qualifying today, it's a prize of rupees 1,25,000.
Yep.
So that was the difference. 4 players tied for the 4th place yesterday with 6 points, but that was the difference of being the highest in tiebreakers. It was a difference of rupees 1,25,000, and as you see, the prizes increase with each win. Just one win, and you get 2 lakhs more. So it's 3,25,000. One more win, and almost 3 lakhs more. You get a guaranteed prize of 6 lakhs if you just qualify to Mumbai.
भाई हर विन के साथ डबल हो रही है लाइफ में चीजें भाई. सो इट्स लाइक epic stakes. It could not get more exciting. And yes, chat, we'll be back tomorrow as well. But yeah, let's have a look at the leaderboard in front of us, because I think कौन कहाँ कितना पानी में है, कौन कितना उसमें पता लगेगा. And there you see, first of all, the first Indian qualifier we had, Karthik and Murli, surprising everyone, finishing in first place at the end, and Vidit Gujarati barely making it. कुछ वहाँ पे हुआ था standings का भी, but at the end, Vidit, that draw against Raunak kind of worked like magic for him at the end.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool thing to do. I take the draw, I do my part and let the standings do its work. And it somehow turned out to work in with its way. It could have gone here and there. Sankalp had some chances against Karthikeyan towards the end, but it was actually a wise decision, because quite often in these situations we assume that our competition will win everything and we assume the worst. But quite often under pressure, everyone makes these mistakes. So it was actually quite a sensible thing from Vidit to do, and he has won so many tournaments like this with a cool head. I remember so many national championships where we were going towards the last round with being close to each other in points, and Vidit would always play it cool and he would get the rewards for it.
And शिखा भाई, ये 12वीं नंबर पे कौन है? काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लेयर लग रहे हैं मुझे. मतलब 5 पॉइंट करे उन्होंने. लग रहा है अच्छा खेला इन्होंने कल.
Yeah, that's
and ahead of Arjun, by the way.
Bro, that's hilarious. Arjun actually lost in 3 moves in the last round,
Yeah. I think he had a bunch of games. He really, I think, struggled in the first half, similar to Pranesh, but I think Pranesh kind of caught up in the second one. And chat, of course, the games are going to start in just a few minutes from now. Shri, we know 2 players हैं, right? 2 players जाने वाले हैं. I mean, I don't even know how to start making these predictions कि कौन होंगे वो दोनों.
Me neither. I think that's something for the chat. The chat should go first. Which 2 players do they think are likely to qualify today, and who do they want to see in Mumbai on July 4th? That's going to be super exciting, yeah? They'll be playing in front of a live audience, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
A live audience with people actually being able to cheer during the game, which is not something we see often in chess, or we see ever in chess.
And Shri, मेरे हिसाब से chat से पूछते हैं, chat, what do you think? कौन होंगे वो 2 player जो आगे जाएंगे? Of course, we're going to have the exact matchups in front of you very, very soon, and the schedule as well. But अपने predictions बताओ. Who do you think is the favorite to reach the top 2? And there we have it. The pairings in front of us. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 8. Players are Indian. So Shri, it does seem like the odds are in our favor.
Yeah, definitely. The odds are massively in our favor. And also looking not just at the number of Indian players, but also the quality of players out there. I would divide this bracket into 2: the quarterfinal 1 and quarterfinal 2. And I think Arjun is a bit of a favorite, if not to overstate things. But I think Arjun has pretty decent chances there. And in the first matchup between Karthik and Murli, who had a commanding performance yesterday with 7.5 out of 9 against Benjamin Bok. Here also Karthikeyan is significantly higher rated than Bok.
Yep, that's a fair point. And Benjamin Hikaru के लिए commentary करते हैं उनके channel पे कई बार. काफी strong player हैं. has been in Dutch number 2-3, so it will not be easy for him, of course. As we see it, Karthikeyan, the much stronger player, also younger, and rating wise roughly 100 points ahead. But क्या वो 100 points का जो difference है वो prove कर पाएंगे वो, in this format, in these 4 games, is the main question. It's not going to be easy, but कल की जो form है वो कह रही है कि he should be at least a slight favorite in this match, Sri.
Yeah, absolutely. I think slight favorite is the word, and ultimately it's not about who's the better player, but who plays better today, and that's what we'll be seeing today.
Yep. जैसे कहते हैं ना, एज इज जस्ट अ नंबर भाई, ऐसे बोलते हैं, रेटिंग इज जस्ट अ नंबर भाई. यू कैन प्ले लाइक द वर्ल्ड चैंपियन ऑन योर डे भाई. कभी 400 रेटिंग भी हो, मुश्किल है, बट कभी खेलोगे तुम लोग भी. And meanwhile, if we go to the next game, Shri, I think you mentioned it, right? In the Arjun matchup, like he is a clear favorite. Would you say this is the starkest difference between two competitors here, between Nicholas and Arjun, like a huge difference?
I think that's just based on how strong Arjun is. You stack him up against most people in the world, and he's going to, I think, look like a favorite. That's the kind of strength he brings in, and he's simply world class.
And एक बार अर्जुन फॉर्म में आ जाए फिर वो रुकते नहीं. हमें पता ही है क्या बढ़िया खेले थे वो पिछले टेपे सेगमेंट टूर्नामेंट में. There we see it, world number 11. In fact, he's gained in some ranks in the live ratings as well. So he's on the uprise, right? And of course, younger. Yep. But both the players country number 1, Shri, I think, and it's going to be very exciting to see this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicolas Theodorou is not going to be easy. In fact, I distinctly remember a game not so long ago where he very convincingly defeated Arjun in, I think, just under 30 moves with the white pieces. Straight up checkmating Arjun in that game.
Yep. And this is also very interesting. Vidit Gujarati, with luck on his side, is now facing Pranesh, who's kind of staged the comeback of the month for me, by winning the second qualifiers. I mean, I'm not sure at all who's the favorite. I would tend to say Vidit, but Pranesh dominated that second qualifier, Shri. What's your thought process here?
Sahil, this is for me one of the most exciting clashes today. Pranesh and Vidit are literally opposites. Vidit, you see, 31 years old. Pranesh, just 19, from two completely different generations. Vidit, classical, old school. And Pranesh is part of the new age, upcoming generation. Pranesh is, I think, the only player apart from Arjun today who already has an esport team, which means the team sees immense potential in him, even if his rating has not yet caught up to it.
Yep, I think these decisions are not made lightly. A lot of data-driven decisions, and they clearly see the potential. We see it, so Vidit will also have to be on his guard. But right now, on paper, Vidit being the slight favorite with the, he is of course India number 6, has been India number 1 in the past. And of course, the final matchup, and this one is, I would say, the most interesting, because we have Raunak on one side, who had a tremendous start yesterday in the India qualifiers, made it to the top 4, but we have a candidate player, Matthias Bluebaum, who's had a fantastic run in the last year, but can he replicate it in the online format? जी बहुत मुश्किल है guess करना ये.
Yeah, actually, this is also one of the most, I think, 50-50 encounters of today, I would say. Bluebaum is not just strong in classical, Sahil, but he actually went up there by showing incredible results in online chess. His opening preparation in particular, he comes up with his unique opening ideas, and they're very hard to face, especially when you have less time. 10 minutes, 0 seconds increment.
Oof, yeah. I think जैसे आपने बोला ना Shri, I suddenly realize age becomes a factor as well. Yeah, sometimes people who are younger are more tech savvy, and those seconds can really mean a lot. We saw it in action yesterday in Arjun's games. जैसी time pressure आता है, like he just starts playing like a beast. Yeah, मतलब ऐसे भाई 1 second में 4-5 move खेल देते भाई, पता नहीं कई बार literally कैसे. So I think of course it's going to be interesting to see 50-50 match, very very likely. Chat, क्या लग रहा है? चारों मैचेस देख लिए. आपको क्या लग रहा है कि इस राउंड में कौन से वो 4 प्लेयर हैं जो अगले राउंड में जाएंगे? श्री, what do you think?
Again, I think Arjun from the top bracket is an easy one. From the second bracket, it's incredibly hard to choose. I think all 4 are about similar strength. Raunak, Pranesh, Vidit, and Bluebaum. But if I had to pick one, I would go for Raunak.
Raunak, can he maintain the momentum is the question. Can Pranesh maintain the momentum? Can Karthikeyan? Because Chad, हमने कल बहुत सारे players खेले थे. I think in both the qualifiers. जो qualify किए हैं, you obviously have to be in form, right, to qualify. So आज कोई भी ऐसा player नहीं है जो अच्छी form में नहीं है, श्री. तो we can expect some fascinating chess and hopefully a few blunders. यार थोड़े बहुत देखने को मजा आता है. कभी queen दे दी, रुक दे दिया, उसका अलग ही मजा है, नहीं?
No, yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure we'll see a few blunders because the time control like this, it creates a lot of pressure. With pressure, there comes mistakes, there comes blunders. So I'm pretty sure we will see a lot. Chat, be on your toes. Try and spot these blunders before the opponent does.
Yeah, true. And I see a question about the Olympiad team. उस पे भी आएंगे भाई लोग. I think potential Olympiad team से एक बंदा तो खेल ही रहा है कम से कम यहाँ पे. So we'll see. Maybe she's watching and Indian Federation is watching right now कि भाई कैसा खेल रहा है Vidit Gujarati. Let's see how he plays.
Yeah, I'm not sure they'll pick teams based on the esports performance. But having said that, Sahil, it's super heartening also to see people playing so well because esports is really a test of how active you are. You need to remember your openings. You need to be super sharp with tactics. Classical sometimes allows you to get away even if you're slightly out of touch. It gives you time to recover. This format doesn't. It's unforgiving.
Agreed. And chat, today we have fixed all the issues. We will have the cameras for you as well because पहले से हमें पता है कौन से players खेल रहे हैं. It just gets a bit easier. And now, of course, the liftoff is about to happen in just a minute or two. I think we can start with the Arjun game, I think, Shri, because that's going to be super exciting to see. And do you expect majority of games to last 4 games? Or is there a matchup you see ending in just 3?
I think it's very possible the matchups end up in 3 games. Especially, we're not exactly having solid players like Magnus and Hikaru here. So I don't expect a lot of draws. Momentum will play a decisive role. And it's very possible someone scores like a 2.5 half. But I'm not sure particularly which game will that happen. But again, if I had to pick one, it would be Arjun.
Oof. And that's the game we're going to follow. Chat, come on, एक बार, अपने favorite का नाम डाल दो to win this entire event. There's one spot at the EWC up for grabs. We have 2 Indian players who've qualified. That is Nehal as well as, Arvind. Then we're going to have the cameras for you soon. There we see it. We see Arjun, a little blurry Arjun. Hopefully that'll be fixed soon. We see Pranesh, we see Karthikeyan, and we see Bok as well. We also have the other 4 players. Shri, anybody looking a bit nervous?
I can see which one is this professional streamer among here. That's clearly Bok. But
True. I think the most stable camera there. But yeah, any nerves on anybody's face?
I feel a bit of nerves from everyone. I think everyone's a bit nervous. Everyone's excited, raring to go. These moments just before the game are, I think, the most annoying and irritating moments because you just want to get started. And you have to wait. You have to make sure everything in your proctor is, clear and good to go. It's I think the most unpleasant waiting time. That time just before the game.
Agreed. Because सोच लो कि मैं D4 खेलूं, E4 खेलूं, prepare किया था, मेरा opponent क्या सोच रहा होगा. So many thoughts going through your mind and आपको वो navigate करने हैं. And of course, Shri, I think the games are about to begin. We are ready. Pranesh के लिए a lot of support in the chat already. I think getting signed by an esports org really gives you a lot of fans by default, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know which one is first. Whether you have a lot of fans and then get signed up by an esports team or you get signed up by an esports team and get a lot of new fans, but probably a bit of both. Yeah,
bit of both. And the games have begun. I think we can jump to the board very soon. We have Arjun with the black pieces. That's the game we're going to begin with. And we're going to have the cameras for you, chat, very soon. But what do you make of the opening moves so far? Arjun playing something very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I think Magnus played something similar against Arjun once upon a time. He called it the old man opening. And Arjun seems to have picked it up from there, getting a bit older himself. And Sahil, this matchup, it comes with a 7-1 advantage for Arjun until now. They've played 8 games in total so far, and Arjun has won 7 out of those games.
Wow, that is crazy stats by the way. So far, and chat ये भूलना नहीं है कि chess लगता है कि it's a game of the pieces, but एक psychological battle भी सारे players face कर रहे होते हैं based on your previous record. मैं इस बंदे से 8 में से 7 गेम हारा हूँ, that's already a lot of psychological pressure on Nicholas. तो क्या वो हैंडल करेंगे? एंड श्री, आई थिंक वाइट ब्लैक हम डिस्कस करते हैं बहुत. डू यू थिंक इस फॉर्मेट में ऑनलाइन 10+0 कलर्स मैटर करते हैं कि नहीं करते?
डेफिनेटली करता है. डेफिनेटली इसमें भी मैं वाइट ही प्रेफर करता हूँ इन एज विद रेगुलर चेस, the classical off the board chess, but it doesn't matter as much. It also gives black, I think, a chance to take over the initiative with the slightest of mistake from white. And if you're stronger, strength also matters. For the stronger player, I think it's easier with black here rather than in the traditional off the board classical chess.
Wow, look at this, Shri. Bishop e3, a6 and now bishop b4. और bishop मतलब थक गया था बीच में e3 में आते आते, मतलब and now bishop h2. Wait, explain this to me. What is happening?
He just realized, I think, that he did something suboptimal and changed his strategy accordingly. Arjun, the way he's playing is so strange. Putting pawns like this as black. In chess, long time ago, in the Indian version of chess, pawns were allowed to move only one square, the initial move. Which is why the openings like King's Indian Defense, Nimzo Indian Defense, they got that name. Arjun is following that completely, being showing that he's a true Indian. He's moved every single pawn one square.
Yeah, and I think he's still playing very well because the bar seems to suggest कि भाई बीच में evaluation से अब तक कोई भी ऐसा कुछ गलती उन्होंने नहीं करी है apart from choosing the structure which is a bit risky. And that करिए best of 3 है क्या? So it's typical format which you see in online chess events from chess.com. So 4 गेम का मैच है and जो भी 2.5 पॉइंट पहले करेगा he wins the match and goes to the semi-finals. अगर टाई होता है तो आर्मगेडन गेम होगा और आपको पता है फिर बोली लगेगी क्लॉक की, भाई कितने मिनट के लिए मैं रेडी हूँ. Yeah, so it's going to be very exciting. So यहाँ पे सोच रहे हैं वो. Also the game I want to look at is the Vidit game, Shri, and jumping here, no knights on the board already.
Wow, no knights on the board, 6 pawns each, equal material, but a slight difference in pawn structure between Pranesh and Vidit, and a clear difference in the clock handling so far. Look at how fast Pranesh has played so far. I'm pretty sure it's not all opening preparation, but it's just how Pranesh plays. He plays super fast. And that's also going to be a battle of opposites between these two players.
And very interesting because black has a protected pass pawn, but white also has a lot of potential. So यहाँ पे काफी interesting रहेगा. And chat, do like the stream. Let's get more people in. बहुत मजा आने वाला है. And going back to the Arjun game quickly because वहाँ पे भी कुछ ड्रामा चल सकता है. Where is Arjun? There he is. And going back, knight d2, a minor error here, Shri.
White is already under a lot of pressure, Sahil. The center is under pressure. So what he has done is he's given up the d4 pawn, one of the central pawns, and he's overprotecting the other central pawn that he has remaining.
Yeah.
Rook e7 played by Arjun, trying to play rook to d7, pinning the d2 knight and trying to win it. Again, creating more pressure. There's also pressure on that c2 point. That knight on b4 cannot be attacked by a pawn. White just moves the queen away so that it doesn't come in front of the rook and the queen on the d5. And preparing to move that knight away. So far, the position looks solid for white. Arjun came up with the initiative. He started by exerting pressure. But white is still not too far behind.
Agreed. And ये knight c4 चाल बढ़िया लग रही है. Knight can come to e5 as well. इसको फिर से अटैक कर सकते हैं. Also bishop e5 I kind of like because completely neutralizing this bishop and I still have the d6 square under my grasp in some cases. I don't know, e5, knight d6 long term and b6 पे भी नजर है. So Arjun also has to be careful ऐसी opening वो खेलते हैं. But 1 minute का edge on the clock. Shri, I really want to ask you this. So let's say कि last कल मैंने बहुत देखा कि एक साइड के पास 2 मिनट है, एक साइड के पास 1 मिनट है and then the winning side literally lost. Arvind lost a game like this. So how much time minimum रखें? मान लो आपके पास 1 मिनट है, ठीक है? You have 1 minute. How behind can you be maximum in the final minute from your opponent? कि इसके आगे है तो हम हारेंगे.
I think 1-2 minutes tak it should be fine in general. If your position is really good, if you're completely better, you can actually make a lot of moves online with just 1 minute. In fact, theoretically, you can make 10 moves with 1 second because of pre-move. So this is different from off-the-board chess where your hand literally cannot move that fast. So you have less time. Let's say when you're down to 1 second or 10 seconds, you have much more time online, and you also have much more practice. And there's less chances of, toppling over the pieces or something. So you have a lot of time when you're down, and if your position is good, I think that's the important thing. First, you need to have a good position, and then oh wow, wow, what?
Oh, what is he planning? Wait, knight takes c4,
Bishop
takes,
takes e4,
rook takes. Yeah, let's look
and
at
rook
this.
d1.
Oh, is it that strong? There's apparently queen f4, which is very good for white.
Queen f4, knight into c2, let's say.
Attacking the rook. Now, do
Not
I
just
move
attacking the rook,
or
but
do
I'm threatening rook into f1 check.
Yes,
queen d1.
because e1 is now covered, right? So if you play something like rook b3, then rook takes f1, king takes f1, queen d1 is actually checkmate because rook e1, now the knight controls this. So, I mean, this must come as a shock to Nicholas. Yeah, he's definitely not seen this.
Yeah.
Oh, he plays queen f4.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It came as a shock to me also. And something like this coming from Arjun can be extremely unnerving, Sahil.
Agreed. And अब सोचना पड़ेगा 93 बेस्ट चाल है यहाँ पे which is okay possible to play बट निकोलस को यहाँ पे सोचना चाहिए. यू मेंशन दिस राइट, अगर पोजीशन अच्छी है टाइम उतना मैटर नहीं करता. ये है वो मोमेंट, क्रिटिकल मोमेंट. लाइफ में से मोमेंट्स आते हैं ना दोस्तों कि ये मोमेंट अगर मैंने सही फिगर आउट कर लिया मेरी लाइफ सॉर्ट हो जाएगी. इस गेम के लिए ये हो सकता है वो मोमेंट श्री. एंड निकोलस शुड थिंक एंड इफ ही कैन हैव हिज कैमरा वुड बी इवन बेटर. बट एंड ही डज फाइंड 93.
Yeah, and that's why he's there playing today. That's why he's there in the top 8. That's how good he is. That's good all these players are.
Yeah. Now what do you do? It's not easy for Arjun. Arjun also ऐसे टाइम पे पॉज कर रहे हैं श्री, मतलब he also missed something likely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he missed 93. I'm pretty sure. But it's not all bad for Arjun. I think he will take the bishop on f1. He will take knight into a3. He has 2 pawns for the minor piece and a bad pawn structure for white. So it's still a very, very long way for white to be able to convert this advantage. But he's got an advantage, and that's a massive positive for Teodoro.
Yep, as you mentioned, he's taken both pieces and यहाँ पे passed pawn potentially black के पास है. कुछ तो potential है long term to create chances. Bishop, by the way, support कर रहा है इस pawn को. And white के pieces में भी थोड़े से अभी perfectly placed तो नहीं है. थोड़ा time लगेगा उनको game में लाने के लिए. अर्जुन खेलते हैं B5 श्री. Do you approve of that move? क्या लग रहा है? I feel like double pawn exchange हो रहा है. Like white should be okay with it, yeah?
White should be okay with it, but also for black, I think most natural move है because black के पास एक passer है queen side में, the c pawn, and this will help him advance that c pawn. And अगर if the pawns get exchanged, the a8 rook also gets opened up, and it will attack the a3 pawn. So very natural move. अभी queen c1 attacking the c5 pawn, so black will play c4. Bishop e5, a very nice move, excellent move.
Yeah, I think you are exchanging the defender. Black king को weak कर दिया आपने. Second, ये bishop इस pawn को रोक रहा है. And I feel like कहीं ना कहीं पे जब मारोगे रुक से मारने के बाद h6 hanging, b5 hanging. I think Nicholas playing a fabulous game, Shri. Right now, अगर आपको बोलते हैं ना एक prediction करनी होती है, I think he has to be to a favorite to win the first game.
Definitely. He's a definite strong favorite. And now you see, Sahil, Arjun is thinking time. He has to burn time to try and defend a bad position, to, create problems for his opponent. And that's the advantage a good position gets. Sooner or later, your opponent needs to give back that time in order to get their position back.
Agreed. That's great advice, Shri. If you're an upcoming chess player, do follow that. Play the best moves. And meanwhile, jumping to the Vidit game, if you can have his camera as well very quickly. He is playing Pranesh, the only board जहाँ पे 2 Indians खेल रहे हैं. So either way, one's going to qualify. But what do you make of the position so far? And look at Vidit's clock. I think we'll fix the clock very soon for you, chat. But he has 2 minutes 50 seconds versus 6 minutes 20 seconds for Pranesh.
And it's fire on board. Vidit has just played g5, attacking the bishop on f4. The bishop will inevitably move, and Vidit then plans to play the pawn to g4 and rushes pawns towards the white's king. It doesn't look so easy to defend this position, Sahil.
या अग्रीड एंड आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लग रहा है कि पास पॉन भी है, वीक किंग भी है, बिशप्स लुकिंग ग्रेट. आई हैव कंप्लीटली ब्लॉक दिस. ऑल्दो G4 maybe opens some doors. He doesn't play it though.
He goes rook e3, attacking the bishop on d3, but the deadlier threat is rook into f3 check. He wants to unleash the queen and the bishop and take them straight towards the white king.
And of course, if bishop e4, I think rook sack करना ही पड़ेगा भाई. I think we'll have to get inspired by Levy and just do it, yeah?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is what Vidit has been lining up for this since a while, actually. He's been waiting for white to play bishop e4 so he can take that bishop, sacrifice the exchange. The bishop will no longer guard the d passed pawn. The passed pawn will keep moving forward. And the queen and bishop also gets unleashed. So this is an extremely critical point in the game. He goes bishop e2, showing exactly how dangerous that attack looked and how hard it is to play the computer's best moves in a position like this.
And look at this, d3 is great, g4 is great. It is your top two natural moves hai. They are the best one. Vidit plays it. Now Pranesh under pressure. It's clock versus evaluation, Shri. The typical struggle. And yahan pe again, now Pranesh has to think a lot and Vidit will recover the time likely.
Yeah, although I don't expect Pranesh to think too much. I think it's just simply not in his style. He will set these little tricky problems. He'll keep trying to play as fast as possible, keep the advantage on the clock. Rook a1 attacking the bishop on e8. Vidit likely has to pull his rook back to e8 to defend that. And Pranesh will, he will just try to set enough problems for Vidit so that his 120 seconds is not enough for him.
Agreed. And I think यहाँ पे already black's pieces are looking great. White of course has this play on the queen side, but this looks very, very weird. Not enough, I think. The king is all alone. Tanha यहाँ बैठा हुआ है Srinath, and now bishop h4 is the only winning move for Vidit.
Wow. That's not so difficult to find. It's a straightforward attack. It's game over, Ritik.
Wow. So, look at this, by the way. So, Vidit is winning, just jumping to the Raunak game very quickly. He seems to be completely winning as well. It's a typical bishop against knight struggle. I have the bishop, you have the knight, and the knight is completely useless. I will queen. But okay, it's still tricky, but good chance Raunak to win. He finds the best move.
Yeah, absolutely. He just has to push the h pawn. When the king goes towards the h pawn, he pushes the a pawn. And the bishop, he can give it up for the c3 pawn. The knight will try to push the c pawn, but it's not going to help. It's as
By the way,
straightforward as it gets.
Yeah, and look at Blue Bomb there, by the way. He is not happy with the game in front of him right now. He looks kind of shocked. Yeah, his jaw is half dropped. I think that tells you the kind of game that's been happening for him. 90 accuracy for him. 96.8 है Raunak की. So clearly dominating this game so far. So we have Raunak winning Shri. वहां से विदित जीत रहा है, वहां से निकोलस जीत रहा है. फाइनल गेम पे नजर मारते हैं. यहाँ पे क्या प्रेडिक्शन है? कार्तिक एंड मुरली वर्सेस बेंजामिन बोक. आई थिंक दे तो भाई हैंडशेक्स होने वाले हैं. वर्चुअल.
Yeah, this is going to be drawn. This is going to be drawn. He has improved tremendously in his online speed play. Oh, they're just drawn by agreement. No.
There it is. Let's jump to Arjun. Yeah, there it is.
Draw. Oh, look at the. Okay. I thought the evaluation bar had come down. It hasn't.
Yeah.
But again, it's really a question of whether you can win within that 144 seconds. That's always a challenge.
Oh,
the problem here is Arjun's king.
Yeah, and Queen e5 is the only move, Shri. Like, that was a bit shocking to me that everything else is already equal. Does that shock you?
It doesn't shock me because I think the idea is to win the b5 pawn. So, oh, he goes knight g5. He goes for the king. He doesn't want pawns. He just goes directly towards the king, and that could be the opening that Arjun needs. The much needed opening.
Exactly, and you know what? Queen c5 now is one of the best moves, and if you trade queens, भाई दे दो pawn, साथ में जो मार्च करते हुए चलेंगे ना, कोई भी मक्खी बीच में आएगी, ये knight g5 वाली तो उड़ जाएगी भाई. And this is now getting nervous, and Arjun could win this.
Absolutely. So queen into c5, rook into c5, knight e4 is an important move, I think. And here you have to have rook c4. Otherwise, you lose the pawn. And now
Repetition,
knight
yeah.
d6, rook c5. This is how the game can end in a draw.
Yeah, even like this maybe. But okay, regard. I think they'll just repeat. Yeah, in that case. Okay, he takes.
If you go into that knight into b5, Arjun will try to flag you. But you have to play knight d6, knight e4 and repeat. That 4 versus 3,
Okay,
Arjun will mercilessly flag.
Bhai, will he take on h4? Will he try to win on the clock? लगता है कर सकता है.
He shouldn't. I think he shouldn't. That would be extremely dangerous.
By the way, VD has won. Chat हमें inform कर रही है. Thanks for letting us know. So Vidit has won and Karthikeyan has drawn again. I think in the game. So I think 2 results. Raunak अभी Bhuvam से जीत रहे हैं. So very
I
likely
think this
we
should
will have,
also
and
be a
that's
draw, right?
Yes, it's a draw. Jumping to Raunak now.
The bishop on d7 beautifully imprisoning that knight on a7. The knight just can't move and Matthias resigns.
Bhai, that was an intense round, Shri. And I think दो result, दो draw. And I don't even know what to make of it. And Arjun survive कर गया भाई वो end game. Like हारता ही नहीं है बंदा भाई. कोई भी position दे दो उसको. Piece down भी नहीं हारता बंदा.
Absolutely, Sahil. It was always tricky, but added to the factor is that you're facing against Arjun, and it took only one small error by him, by Theodoru, for the game to turn around, and Arjun instantly spotted that move, Queen C5.
एंड अगला राउंड चालू हो चुका है चैट. यहाँ पे कोई ब्रेक नहीं है भाई. यू नो प्लेयर्स के लिए इट्स वेरी स्ट्रेसफुल. ऑलरेडी कार्तिकेय की गेम चालू हो चुकी है. काफी फियनचेटो कर चुके हैं दोनों साइड्स. नो बडी रिवीलिंग अपनी ओपनिंग प्रेप अभी के लिए. श्री आई थिंक यहाँ पे आई थिंक वी कुड एक्सपेक्ट अ रिजल्ट. या पहले ड्रॉ के बाद ना रिजल्ट आता ही आता है.
Very well. In general, I think draws are rare, so high chances are result के लिए.
Yeah, and also waiting for the other games to begin, chat. And तीनों games चालू होंगी. I think the odds of a match ending in 3 games has gone down drastically because Arjun का draw हुआ and so on. And Pranesh of course fight करेंगे. H5 काफी interesting चाल लगती है मुझे श्री. Like if you had to explain to a beginner कि भाई जहां मैं कैसल करने वाला हूं वहां पे मैं H pawn काहे का फेंक रहा हूं. Like what's the logic behind this move?
It's difficult to explain it to a beginner. To a beginner, you should explain that you're not supposed to play like this. Do not try this at home or school. With h5, h4, you don't immediately need to castle with black in these types of positions. Instead, you're choosing to develop the rook in a different way. With if white castles and you get h4 and h into g3, you open up the h file automatically, and you basically challenge that the white king on g1 is not necessarily safer than my king on e8, despite you having castled. And aside from that, these moves generally, it just creates more space for your pieces, Sahil. In a position like this for black, space is very important. If you don't have space for your pieces, what happens is it's like living in a big city, a congested city. You don't have squares for your pieces. The amount of, let's say, the rank goes very high. Similarly, the pieces, bishop and knight are fighting for one square. And
श्री अपनी लाइफ सिचुएशन की वरीज बता रहे हैं भाई अभी थ्रू द गेम. बट आई एम इन द सेम बोट एज यू भाई. आई थिंक आई अग्री. आई थिंक काफी इंटरेस्टिंग फंडा है. बट ओके, नाइट c2 आया एंड d6 प्लेड. सो काफी सॉलिड स्ट्रक्चर. जंपिंग टू द अर्जुन गेम वेरी क्विकली. अब अर्जुन के आते हैं व्हाइट पीसेस. d4 नाइट f6, नाइट f3, d6 खेला. सो निकोलस कहते हैं भाई खाली आप ही d6 नहीं खेल सकते, मैं भी खेल सकता हूं. एंड नाउ बिशप f5 प्रिवेंटिंग e4, बट h3 काफी इंटरेस्टिंग.
yeah, it's almost as if Arjun has specifically prepared for the esport format, specifically prepared for this tournament. Knight c3, h3. This setup is something I've never seen for white. I guess the idea is to play g4, attack that bishop, push that bishop away. Once again, black faces this problem of space. With the bishop on f5, he could have played knight e4, tried and exchanged one of the bishops, which is what you do when you have less space. The more pieces you trade, the more space you create within your territory for your pieces to go to. And with g4, he pushes away that bishop. That bishop will find it difficult to find a safe space, the light square bishop. So and look at
Agreed.
Arjun, he creates pressure right from the opening. Yeah? He makes you think, he sets you difficult problems. And he comes at you directly, he doesn't even let you settle.
अग्रीड वही क्लास है अर्जुन का एंड ऑफ कोर्स वो मिस्टेक था G6 आई थिंक प्रिडिक्ट किया था उन्होंने कि यहाँ पे निकोलस गलती कर सकते हैं देखो चैट यार कई लोग कहते हैं यार मैं कैसे चेस में स्ट्रांग बनूं मुझे ओपनिंग्स नहीं आती भाई क्रीज नंबर 1 2600 रेटेड प्लेयर यहाँ पे मेक्स अ ओपनिंग मिस्टेक एटलीस्ट एन एरर और मूव नंबर 4 एंड ये मिस्टेक इंड्यूस करना कितना मुश्किल है श्री right? So it takes class from both players, and iska matlab learning chess, there's always room to grow as a chess player. You can try out new stuff, and then you can possibly confuse a 2600 player as well. By the bishop e3 on the board.
Yeah, it's easier than ever to be able to do that, Sahil. H5 played by black, trying to create that space. Now you see H5 on every game now.
Wow. भाई दैट इज अ बिग क्वेश्चन मार्क आई थिंक ब्लैक डर रहे थे कैसल करने से एंड ही वांटेड दैट बट ही टेक्स ऑन h5 वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बाय द वे वी सी द the pathway for all the players to qualify. This is what they are fighting for. We saw a draw in the top 2 rounds there and a win for Vidit and win for Raunak. बहुत crucial round. Semi-final में कौन जाएगा अभी पता लगेगा श्री.
Yeah, and a huge win for Vidit Sahil. He won with the black pieces, which means he has 2 more whites and he only has to score 1.5 out of 3. And growing up with Vidit, I and Vidit were born in the same year, 1994. So being in the same age group, when we were teenagers, I used to have this feeling that Vidit was impossible to defeat with the white pieces. When he had the white pieces, I would not even try to win against Vidit. He used to be so solid.
Agreed and done. I think Harshda, you can see it now. Yeah, we are there. And by the way, Shri, I think अभी आप time travel करने वाले हो 1 minute past में, so don't worry about it. But G takes h5 on the board. क्या होगा? I think Rook takes h5. But why did he just not play g5 is the question for me. I'm still confused about that. I think g5 could have been interesting. e5 could have been interesting. And now knight takes के बाद maybe at least some of the pieces are doing okay for black. Yeah, I can hope for e5 maybe at some point. Maybe d5 as well is an option, and maybe knight f4 if I can see already. Yeah, b5. Black is also playing at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have one simple answer to your question, Sahil. Arjun took g into h5 because he wants lines open. So now the g file is open. The computer thinks it's a mistake, but if you play g5, the lines get closed, and the more lines you open, the more access white gets towards black's pieces. So as a human, I can totally understand g into h5, even if Stockfish doesn't quite like it, it's critical of it. And Abhi, you will see if black castles on the king side, if the king goes to g8, then after rook g1, the pieces have direct access. It allows you, let's say, a sacrifice on g6. And Arjun is preparing for it. He brings the pieces, bishop to d3. All his pieces are developed. And it allows him to play a breakthrough move like e5 in the future. Meanwhile, black has extremely unpleasant problems, right? The biggest problem is where to put his king. It's not safe in the center. It's not safe on g8. And it's not likely to be safe on c8 either.
Chat, it's going to be very clear. आप pieces देखो भाई. White के pieces क्या naturally developed हैं यहाँ पे इन 4 squares पे. कैसलिंग करके एक मूव लगा के b1 भी किंग रख दिया है. रुक d1 पे है, रुक g1 पे आ सकता है. वाइट रेडी है अपनी आदमी के साथ बैटल करने के लिए. ब्लैक का बिशप घर पे है, ब्लैक का नाइट कोने में है, ब्लैक का किंग कह रहा है मैं कहां जाऊं. रुक घर पे, क्वीन घर पे. It's not a battle of an equal army right now. So white is dominating and practically maybe +1 is not enough of an advantage. इतना practically दिख रहा है. So I think very good position यहाँ पे अर्जुन के लिए to get his first win. Let's jump to Vidit against Pranesh because Vidit won the last game. Shri, अगर यहाँ पे वो जीतते हैं तो 2-0 advantage से comeback करना would be next to impossible. And I do see a weak d5 pawn. क्या लग रहा है यहाँ पे? कैसी position लग रही है आपको श्री?
For now, it looks completely fine for Vidit. Vidit का position बहुत solid है. He has pair of bishops, and in general, though 2 bishops control the board better than 2 knights, and Pranesh almost hears it. He immediately offers a trade of one of the bishops. He immediately takes the bishop, I would say, bishop into e2, queen into e2, and attacks the bishop on b4. I think he almost pushes the bishop back to e1 because you don't want to play bishop a3 and allow knight c3. So the bishop goes to e1, and he's trying to create a lot of play based on his two knights. So far, still nothing to worry for with it. His position is completely fine, but Pranesh is trying his best to create short-term problems for Vidit. And again, Sahil, this is the most exciting contest because it's basically a battle between accuracy against speed.
Agreed, and you can see the speed, Vidit, by the way, has 5.5 minutes और प्रनेश के पास 7.5 मिनट से ऊपर है. सो अगर वो इक्वल पोजीशन भी मेंटेन करते हैं, ऐसा टाइम डिफरेंस मेंटेन करते हैं, तो आई थिंक ही कुड हैव अ गुड चांस टू इक्वलाइज द मैटर्स. लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस. बाय द वे, रौनक की गेम में नजर मारेंगे बिकॉज गेम थोड़ी क्रेजी तो लग रही है भाई. ये हम कह रहे थे जी फाइल खोलने की बात आई थी श्री इन दैट अर्जुन गेम. यहाँ GHE मतलब सब ओपन है भाई, एंड आई डोंट इवन नो हु इज बेटर.
I love those two bishops though, Sahil. Look at those two bishops. It's like a sniper, if you follow other esports as well. The bishops have such long range. And yes, the G8 king is a little bit exposed, but so is this king on e1. So I actually prefer black here. Although, as I count pawns, white has one extra pawn. That one extra pawn is a protected passed pauser on the d5. But still, those two bishops, they look menacing.
यप, एंड यहाँ पे टेम्पो गेन किया रुक को अटैक करते हुए. रुक की फाइल भी खोल दी है. बिशप d4 कुड बी अ मूव, एंड ऑफ कोर्स क्वीन से कैसल करेंगे तो मे बी दैट विल गिव वाइट सम चांसेस, बट ब्लैक ऑल्सो फाइटिंग बैक. एंड चैट बाय द वे, बहुत नेक टू नेक गेम्स चल रही हैं. 3 गेम अभी लगभग बराबर चल रही हैं. खिले सिर्फ अर्जुन की गेम में उनके पास एज है. सो चलते हैं अर्जुन की गेम में डायरेक्ट, जहां पे निकोलस ने अपने बाकी आर्मी उनकी स्ट्रगल कर रही है, बट उनके पास एक वो बॉर्डर मूवी वाला वो संजय दत्त नहीं, कौन था यार वो जो आगे चला गया था वो, दे हैव वन स्टार army, man in their army, knight on c4, and he's kind of brought it there, attacking b2, some potential. अगर मारोगे तो मैं b pawn से मारूंगा, b फाइल खुल सकती है. मे बी अर्जुन को just ignore this, ये भी एक्सचेंज कर दिया. that feels wrong.
Knight into f7 आ रहा है क्या साहिल?
By best move. Best move, knight f7. That would be crazy. Boom, forking queen and rook. Shri takes and now rook at g1 calmly. भाई कैसे खेल सकते हैं ऐसे चेस यार?
Brilliant stuff. Arjun is literally waiting for it. For this reason, specifically this reason, he put that knight on d5.
Look at this, Shri. Brilliancy. And now, will he play the second brilliancy is the question. Rook g1 खेलना है उनको.
Rook g1 only move है क्या?
ये भी काम कर रहा है भाई.
Like, what if I play rook f1 check ऐसा कुछ?
Rook f1 check also works. Actually, okay, then it's very simple. Okay, भाई 2 piece.
Bishop at g6. Oh my god.
Wow.
It's like brilliancy after brilliancy.
Wow, he's gonna finish off in style and h4. बोलते ना 2 पीस देने के बाद एक पॉन की चाल, एक प्यादे की चाल, मतलब ऐसे बोलते ना पहले आपने खाना बनाया फिर तड़का लगा दिया उसमें अंत में. भाई दाल क्या बस बनेगी श्री.
कितना domination है bro. Look at not just the position, the king is totally exposed, but 5 minutes advantage on the clock. And in this whole game, from the move on, Theodoruk never got a chance to even get into the game. This is the kind of domination, the kind of pressure you feel against Arjun.
Yep, and that's the kind of domination required to qualify to the EWC. देखते हैं क्या वो कन्वर्ट कर पाएंगे. ब्लैक किंग अकेला है. कई लोग कह रहे हैं why is black losing? ब्लैक के पास एक्स्ट्रा मटेरियल है because वो मटेरियल घर बैठ के देख रहा है, मूवी देख रहा है वो. It's not there supporting their king. Look at this. Every piece now comes with a tempo. Check पे check, check पे check. Now you can play E for attacking the knight. I'm sure अलग queen G2, rook G7 भी कुछ threat होगा. So Shri, this just looks like objectively lost now with 2 minutes on the clock.
Definitely, there's no way Theodoruk can defend this with just 2 minutes. The position is vastly better for white. The clock situation is vastly better. I think Arjun is taking this one. Bro, what a domination. When I used to watch something like a WWE, there were these characters like Undertaker, right? When they came into the ring, it would be such an intimidating presence. Arjun gives that kind of a presence on the board. You just feel paralyzed with fear. when you see him make these moves in the opening.
Agreed. And I
I'm
think
not able to
he has a
imagine it. I
reputation.
felt it yesterday.
Yeah, you played him, Shri. I think that was a crazy game as well. And I think you also mentioned this, off stream, कि भाई उसके बाद मेरा form उड़ गया. Like he kind of puts so much psychological pressure on you कि भाई आगे बंदा उसके बाद game. Can you take us through why? How was it playing Arjun yesterday?
It was so different from the other opposition I faced, because again, from the beginning, from the opening, I had to solve problems. And pretty quickly, as a situation ban gaya where I'm trying to spend time to try and solve problem, and I go bad in position and I become bad in clock also. The time situation as well.
Look at that move.
And then one by one.
Look at that move, Shri. Rook takes f5, एक और तीसरा piece sack भाई, तीसरी brilliancy, and now Queen d6 खेला है. Apparently Queen g2 was the best, but Queen d6 also second best.
Yeah, you want to give g6, Queen g6 check, and I think after Queen d6, did Black resign?
Yep, he resigned, and Arjun has won the game. So he has a 1.5 lead. अगर अगली game जीतेंगे, he's gonna win and go to semis in just 3 games. So let's jump to Vidit now. See what's happening there, Shri. What do you make of this interesting end game? Feels like Vidit is like maybe a bit better, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. He has one extra pawn. Black is trying to create some tricks with his knight, but you can clearly see Vidit is playing superior chess in this game. He's making better moves, but Pranesh is banging on the clock. He always has a little more time. But Sahil, like I told you, in online chess, you can make a crazy amount of moves with less time. And 3+0 is the most common time control that we play on Blitz on chess.com. And here you're literally starting a 3+0 game, right? You play entire games with 3+0. It's ample time for White to try and convert his advantage.
And we see Vidit there. I love this. I think this is the perfect way to consume chess. Vidit बड़ा stressed लग रहे हैं ऐसे, मतलब बोलते हैं ना, like ऐसे he knows he's better. उनको पता है कि अगर मैंने ये game जीत ली, I am basically almost through. उसके बाद comeback करना प्रनेश का बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा, क्योंकि एक white piece तो मेरे पास है ही. I can go for a solid opening in that game. Pranesh, however, Shri, from his body language, looks locked in. He's like, भाई काहे का advantage? I don't see it. I'm gonna keep on piling pressure and not make this easy for you.
Yeah, he's just doing his 3+0 thing. Makes moves fast. Puts the pawn on e3. If that a2 pawn gets captured by some way in the future, he gets an advanced pawn, passed pawn right after, immediately. And he'll try to make it happen, but it's not so easy, because you cannot move that a8 rook. It's protecting the a3 pawn. The rook on d3 makes sure that pawn is always taken care of. Vidit just needs to ensure that he doesn't get flagged, and that's pretty much all he needs to do.
Yep. Chat, question to you. क्या लग रहा है? Vidit, win, draw, loss with the white pieces. Do you think he converts this? Yes or no? By the way, rook b1 could be rook b2 ideas in some cases. And of course, white का king अभी थोड़ा सा black king से better है. But this knight on d6 doing a great job of stopping the passed pawn, controlling the white knight. So बिल्कुल star piece है. Let's see how this game progresses. जितना time कम होता जाएगा, उतना this could get tricky. So super interesting. Meanwhile, huge update. Raunak Sadhwani was completely lost, close to lost. यहाँ पे Queen C2 खेला. Look at this, Shri. Allowing rook takes f3, brilliancy. And now rook d3 was the only move. Finds it, but knight c5 mistake. And up rook g1, big blunder from Matthews Blum. And Raunak could take a 2-0 lead here.
Raunak is just outplaying his opponent so far. Beautiful play. Rook at f3 was mind-blowing. Once again, look at the speed with which Raunak is playing. Sahil, when I play against these kind of players like Raunak or Arjun, I can immediately feel the difference in speed. They just play much faster and they play stronger as well. And when you face that kind of speed, you immediately are under pressure, because you have to match that speed, you have to match that precision. And usually you can only do one of these two. And sometimes
very interesting,
zero.
I think. Yeah, that's me, by the way. वो zero वाला मेरे लिए था. But I'm curious, Shri. Like, between two equally strength players, right? Let's say there are two players, roughly same rating. Sometimes online format में आते ही somebody is just clearly faster. Is it just the practice, ऑफ प्लेइंग ऑनलाइन चेस, या फिर एक वो इनहेरेंट एबिलिटी भी होती है, या फिर खाली माउस है? किसका जादू है ये? मतलब व्हाई इज समबडी फास्टर, व्हाई इज समबडी स्लोअर?
I think mouse is the least important thing ये सब चीजों में. Everyone has, I think, a decent mouse these days, and it's not like other first-person shooter games. We don't set our DPI and stuff chess में. So I think mouse is the least important. One is, as you said, the tendency to play fast. Certain people just play faster, and other is also
we saw like
how much-
we saw like a table bang
Yeah.
there from Did you see that? Oh, interesting.
Yes, I did.
Now chess की तैयारी हो रही है. But yeah, please continue.
So some you're just naturally you play faster in some cases, and in some cases it also comes with practice. Like I was just telling someone about how Nihal grew up playing chess online. He would wake up and sometimes he would go straight to playing games without even brushing his teeth.
Look at him. Look at Matthews. He's just letting his time run down. He's really angry at himself on how he messed this up. He is really, really angry. Look at this is human emotion in real time being brought to you. Because the spot at the EWC really, really matters. Matthews, Bluebam, जो candidates में qualify करे, spectacular साल खेल के performances, टाटा सिल्वे भी अच्छा खेले, and यहाँ पे वो अच्छा खेले कल, but आज he struggling against रौनक सदवानी. He takes on G7. अब उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि यहाँ से किसी तरीके से वो draw hold करेंगे, but Shri, I think the H pawn is just too strong.
Absolutely, absolutely. This game is, I guess, close to being over. Meanwhile, I think we have a very interesting update in Vidit's game against
Wow.
Pranesh, where we can actually literally see Pranesh has actually turned things around. Sahil, it's an exchange down, but Vidit is no longer better, and it's actually Pranesh who's trying to win this game.
Wow. So first of all, he was a pawn down. उन्होंने completely equalize कर दिया. In fact, he's, I would say, even practically maybe a bit better. Then, okay, now it's equal. But time-wise भी कितना आगे है? Do you think Vidit holds this chat? Crucial moment. Question to you. Do you think Vidit ये hold
crucial
करेंगे या
moment.
जीतेंगे?
Pranesh is full on trying to flag with it now. The position is complete draw, theoretical draw. Oh! What did he do?
What did I just see?
Why did he do that? He had a full minute. Oh my god,
की
that
यार-
could be the
भाई ये क्या
defining
चल रहा
moment
है?
of this match. Why did he
Wow.
have to do
I
that?
have-
It was totally unnecessary.
Can we have the cameras? Would love to see
Crazy.
Pranesh and Vidit here. But oh my god, he's playing for stalemate, but it's not gonna happen. There is the G6 square, and we're gonna go back and check that moment again, because what happened? That was crazy. He literally left the rook hanging, Shri. I mean, Vidit 2-0 lead now.
Yeah, it's crazy, Sahil. He didn't need to do that. He had a full minute. He had a full minute advantage.
Wow.
He could have taken his time. He could have, played a few more moves, and he would have been able to flag with it in that position. He had only 25 seconds.
That was insane. And look at that. With that win, Vidit के पास 2-0 की लीड है, रौनक के पास 2-0 की लीड है. हमने बात करी थी कि आप 3 मैच में कोई गेम फिनिश करेंगे. राइट नाउ इट कुड बी बेंजामिन बोक जो जीत गए कार्तिकेन मुरली से. इट कुड बी अर्जुन, इट कुड बी विदित, इट कुड बी रौनक. वी कुड हैव ऑल द गेम्स फिनिश इन 3 games, Sri. That is still on the cards.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. A lot of extra time to rest for the players, but I don't think that's going to happen, Sahil. I think Karthikeyan for one will definitely try and hit back against Benjamin Bok. And Arjun Theodoru, I'm pretty sure Arjun will play aggressively with black. But yeah, the other 2 matches, there's a very high chance of ending by game 3. These kind of moments, like what happened to Pranesh, puts you in a tilt. It just makes you go crazier and crazier, which makes you play weaker and weaker. And we could actually have a very quick win for Vidit in round 3.
Yeah, and I think this tells you कि इंक्रीमेंट ना हो तो लास्ट मिनट तक जादू देखने को मिलता है बोर्ड पे. You simply cannot predict कि कौन जीतेगा. I mean, Pranesh is such a strong player, one of the best players in India, possibly the world soon. And उन्होंने बस अपना fork करवा लिया, knight f5. I mean, simple fork, pawn मारा, fork लग गया. And with it, I think Shri, I mean, Lady Luck is on his side. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely, Lady Luck is on his side, but also credit to Vidit for playing good chess. He played. He's been pretty precise, pretty accurate. It's not easy to do that against someone like Pranesh, as you saw in the title qualifier yesterday. Pranesh was just sweeping the field. He was winning one game after another, but Vidit is making it look easy. It's like how in IPL you have someone like a Virat Kohli playing proper cricket shots and keeping a high strike rate, and you also have someone like a Vaibhav Suryavanshi taking a completely different approach. We see that kind of a clash in styles here, and with this he's showing excellent accuracy. I'm pretty pleased to see how well he's playing.
Yep, and I think 2-3 मिनट का ब्रेक है, but the games will begin very very quickly. And मेरे हिसाब से जो ये pause है, ये जो 3-4 मिनट है, what is going on Shri Pranesh के mind में अभी? Because I do not want to be there in his mind right now. As you mentioned, game के start में ऐसे thoughts आते हैं, अभी तो he must be like really mad at himself.
A lot of table banging must be going inside the head. He needs to step away, go for a walk, maybe wash his face or try and hit the reset button, drink some water. He needs to try and trick his brain that the previous chapter is over and it's going to be a new chapter. But it's not easy because the e-sport ka format bhi aisa hai ki there is absolutely no time to reset. It starts in 3 or 4 minutes. In a classical match, you get 1 day to reset. You get that much of time to process your emotion. This is like, you're being angry or super stressed, and within 3-4 minutes you have to become normal. How do you do that as a human?
Very hard. And I think मैंने एक धोनी का कोट सुना था कि गुस्सा हो कोई डिसीजन नहीं लेना चाहिए. कभी गुस्से में हो थोड़ा ठंड पालो, जाओ भाई थोड़ा वॉक करके आओ, चिल करके आओ. एंड कालुआना जो कैनेडिया जीते थे, जहाँ पे उन्होंने मैग्नस से खेली थी वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप, आई थिंक ही लॉस्ट अ गेम बिफोर द रेस्ट डे, एंड देन वहाँ पे रेस्ट डे पे वो प्रैक्टिस नहीं करे, वो जाके मूवी देख के आए कजिन डैनो के साथ, चिल करके आए, वॉक पे होके आए, बिकॉज दैट रियली सेट्स योर बेस लाइन इमोशंस बैक टू नॉर्मल, एंड देन यू कैन लुक एट द पोजीशन ऑब्जेक्टिवली. एंड हमारे सामने 4 प्लेयर हैं. अर्जुन का एक्सप्रेशन, क्वेश्चन टू यू श्री, बिकॉज यू बीन हिज कोच फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, कितनी बार चेंज हुआ होगा पिछले 1 घंटे में? मेरे को लग रहा है 2 बार, और वो ज्यादा कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ होगा.
पिछले बार क्या चेंज हुआ?
इसका एक्सप्रेशन चेंज हुआ होगा क्या पिछले अर्जुन का पिछले 1.5 घंटे में? मेरे को लगता नहीं है.
एक्सप्रेशन I also don't see any.
Is that video or photo? Is that video or photo? Okay, it's video now, but there's no guarantee. Yeah, it could be a photo.
But I can assure you, by a lot of changes go inside within.
Yeah, we have the game. By the way, let's have the board because Arjun की game start हो चुकी है. Nicholas with the white pieces now in a desperate situation. उनको minimum draw चाहिए. अगर ये game हार गए, he is out and Arjun goes to the semis. So यहाँ पे minimum draw चाहिए. Ideally, he wants to strike with the white pieces. अभी आपके सामने game लाएंगे. Shri, जब must win होती है, I think white say you have the best shot. Yeah, you have to go for the kill.
Absolutely. Because with black, there is a very big risk your opponent might try and force a draw. With white, there are more options, but white में ऐसा नहीं है. You get to set the initiative. You get to choose the type of positions that you can take your opponent into. And you can try and go for something aggressive, or you can also try and go for something where you get a long game. So you get to decide. You get to choose the battlefield. It's like, choosing the pitch for the match.
Agreed. And Vidit won, yes. Vidit is 2-on-2. Raunak is 2-on-2. Arjun 1.5 and Benjamin Boak 1.5. Right now, it seems like these guys are the 4 favorites to move to the semis. Of course, against semis is not the end of the race. उसके आगे finals तक जाना है, जो live मुंबई में होगा. So there will be one more level and the competition will get tougher and tougher. We're going to bring you the game very, very soon. Meanwhile, Pranesh already won against Magnus, but now throwing against, I think, as we mentioned, rating एक number actually. You can play like a 2750 on one day and then a 750 on one day sometimes. And the rating is just an average number that you can play on in general, right?
Absolutely, and I think for different players, it's a different level of stability. And there we have the game, the action. Theodoro with the white pieces against Arjun. Arjun already has an extra pawn in Sahil, and I was just
Yeah.
about to make this point. Arjun with a lead after two games, going into the third and fourth game. It's a tricky spot. You have to choose whether you want to be solid as black, try and make a draw, or play normally and take the chance if you can try and win. And here, all that experience of playing against Magnus and other top class players in tournaments like Champion Chess Tour will certainly help immensely, because there you just don't have the option to be solid, take it safe, make a draw. And all those things will, I think, make a massive difference. He's been in this situation several times before. It's not his first time. I think the experience plays a massive role in terms of allowing him to stay stable emotionally.
अग्रीड. यहाँ पे अर्जुन सीम्स टू बी डोमिनेटिंग. जाएंगे विदित के बोर्ड पे. एक बार जो भी चालू हो चुकी है गेम प्रनेश के लिए, दिस इज अ मस्ट विन आई वुड से. 2 पॉइंट है यहाँ पे. ड्रॉ पे भी विदित क्वालिफाई. सो मतलब आप तो मजबूर हो भाई, मतलब बोलते हैं ना, लेकिन यू जस्ट हैव टू गो गंग हो कंप्लीटली भाई. ऑल बेट्स आर ऑफ नाउ.
All in. And with white pieces
Yeah.
is the chance for him to do that. I think in a way it's good for him that he has white in the third game. If he manages to win this game, then going into the fourth game, even if he has the black pieces, there will be some pressure on Vidit. But he first needs to create that pressure, because right now, Vidit is not under a lot of pressure. Even if he loses, he has nothing to lose.
या अग्रीड. एंड आई थिंक थोड़ा सा ओपनिंग उन्होंने इंटरेस्टिंग के लिए. लुक एट दिस चैट. या यू कुड हैव टेकन दिस नाइट, बट नहीं, एक और पॉन, एफ पॉन उन्होंने पुश किया. विदित ने बेस्ट चाल निकाली 90 G4 एंड अब E5. ये पॉन चेन बहुत बढ़िया लग रही है. पीस तो मिल जाएगा वाइट को वापस, बट सही तरीके से लेना बहुत जरूरी है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ मानो बिशप आपने यहाँ पे खेला B4 पे, E takes F6, Knight takes F6. आई थिंक ब्लैक इज ऑलरेडी हैप्पी. सो आई थिंक एक सही तरीके से वो पीस लेना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे प्रनेश को, ताकि ब्लैक की थोड़ी जो प्रॉब्लम्स है वो बनी रहे. अब मारेंगे कि अभी और आगे चलते हैं श्री. F5, H3, लेट्स जस्ट कीप अटैकिंग. या
हाँ, चल तो सकता है. I think F5 is a valid legit move in this position. I think it's theory. You play F5, you create the threat of H3. So and he has actually gone for it. F5. It makes a lot of sense. It can get pretty dangerous for black here if he doesn't play correctly. And I don't remember how black should play here. What's the correct way to play? He's played D6, which makes a lot of sense. He's created some stability in the position. The knight comes back to F6. So things under control for now for Vidit. Again, showing that excellent memory, excellent stability and solidity. It's not easy to even create a complex position against Vidit.
अग्रीड. एंड क्वेश्चन चैट में है कि अगर वो हार जाते हैं तो क्या वो एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे? बिल्कुल. अगर आपके ओपोनेंट 2.5 पे पहुंच गए, आप 2.5, 1.5 पे अटक गए, इफ यू लूज दिस match of 4 games, you will be knocked out. So no second chances. The stakes are high. So jump मारेंगे quickly वापस अर्जुन की गेम पे. एंड ये है पोजिशन, बिकॉज अर्जुन, अब निकोलस ने समझ लिया कि भाई कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई है. एंड वेरी रेयरली H3 इज अ ब्लंडर. आई थिंक इट्स जस्ट कि जो कंपनसेशन था आपका वो मे बी किसी और तरीके से लेना था, एंड यू जस्ट मेस्ड इट अप. एंड नाउ वेरी वेरी सून I think Nicholas has to go desperate for an attack, because draw bhi unko nahi chahiye. He wants to go for the win.
Yeah, he has gone desperate. He's given up 2 pawns. He's going all in against the king. It's the only way he knows how to play. He's going full all in. And although the position looks brilliant for Arjun, minus 2.5, these kind of positions, it takes only a small slip for the entire advantage to go away. Here, white threatens to play G5, which would win a piece. So Arjun protects that D5 knight with bishop C6, and white goes knight to H4. He's bringing all his pieces up. Position looks dangerous, Sahib. Arjun needs to play precisely. It's not going to be easy. So taken for granted नहीं है.
हाँ, I agree, because ये क्वीन को हिलाना आसान नहीं है, especially after bishop C6, and ये bishop B2 पे कभी आएगा, and ये सारे pieces, like basically white की जो pieces हैं, they are doing a great job. कम है लेकिन अच्छे हैं, मतलब like it's like white would be very happy with the pieces, the job they are doing. And knight, now maybe knight C4 could be a plan कि भाई इनमें से मैं एक उड़ा दूं, एंड इफ यू लूज वन ऑफ दी सडनली अटैकिंग पोटेंशियल आपकी पोजीशन का कम हो जाएगा, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स ब्लैक also could have some potential long term.
Absolutely. Every piece trade, any piece, any attacking piece of white traded is a massive advantage for black. So I think it's really important. White tries and protects the bishop, gets that bishop to b2, later to c3, and keeps that bishop alive at any cost. Keep those pieces alive and keep the attack going and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, agreed. एंड मीन वाइल आई थिंक बिशप b2 खेल दिया है ताकि नाइट c4 पे वो बिशप c3 का ऑप्शन रख पाए, बट स्टिल आई थिंक ब्लैक अपने पीसेज एक्टिवेट करते जा रहे हैं, वो कभी भी रुक ट्रेड कर सकते हैं, सो इट्स गेटिंग टफर फॉर अर्जुन निकोलस टू काइंड ऑफ विन दिस वन. मीन वाइल आई थिंक आई वांट टू टेक यू टू द गेम ऑफ रौनक एक सेकेंड के लिए, बिकॉज ही इज अगेन बेटर. क्या ये 3-0 ड्रबिंग हो सकती है बाय रौनक अगेंस्ट अ कैंडिडेट प्लेयर? श्री, दैट वुड बी अ ह्यूज confidence boost for Raunak going to the next round.
Definitely, sir. That would be a brilliant confidence boost. And also not just the result, but how well he has been playing in these games so far in this tournament. He looks dominant. And he's simply a pawn up in this position, yeah. He has taken on Blue Bum's best strengths and he has been able to do it better.
You know, usually कई बार ब्लैक वाइट को 2-3 पॉन सैक करने पड़ते किंग को e7 लाने के लिए. यहाँ पे ब्लैक किंग e7 होके खुद ही e5 खेल रहा है. इन्होंने ही इज ओपनिंग अप द सेंटर हिमसेल्फ व्हाइल हिज किंग इज ऑन e7. लाइक दैट टेल्स यू, बिकॉज ब्लैक हैज नो चॉइस, राइट? ही हैज टू गो फॉर द विन. सो ही सीज कि वाइट का कैसल कर गया, स्टेबलाइज हो गया, देन आई हैव नथिंग. सो दिस जस्ट एज यू मेंशन अर्लियर डेस्परेट सिचुएशन में आ चुके हैं ब्लैक, एंड आई थिंक रौनक 3 ही गेम में मैच खत्म कर देंगे.
Nicholas or Blue Bum, they have gone into a nothing to lose situation. They have, thrown all in, and they're like, if I lose, then who cares? It's already lost situation. But I'll try and throw everything at my opponent. If my opponent makes a mistake, then I'll try and bounce back. But I think it will not work against.
I
think it will not work against Raunak and Arjun.
Agreed. And by the way,
he's winning a piece.
VD is and f4 bishop h4 के बाद क्या प्लान है लेकिन white का? Like, are you gonna go
just g3, f4 bishop h4 g3? You can take that pawn, but I will take your bishop.
And then apparently rook f3 is kind of some counterplay.
Okay, it's not so easy. Sometimes
easy,
helps to go all in. Yeah.
Okay, going back, I think, by the way, this has happened, he took the bishop, so I think rook f3 is the only move, so changing to the Vidit game quickly as well. एक update, g5 आ चुका है on the board, by the way, भाई, he sacked a pawn, look at this, f6 खेला, question mark, bishop f6, and now g5. So Pranesh ने तो मतलब he's launched a full-on invasion towards the black king, I feel. मतलब there is no remorse, nothing. Queen f7 is possible, Shri. मतलब ये possible. Usually black never allows this, yeah?
Yeah, black generally never allows this, but he had to allow it. Pranesh sacrificed a pawn with f6 and he forced the f file open. और अभी queen at f7 white can take, but after black moves the king, it's actually threats against the white's king still. There will be the threat of knight g3 check, and if that queen can get to the h file, like let's say after queen into h4, something like that, it's actually black who mates white first.
Yeah, this queen can easily enter the game. Of course, the rook is hanging, have to be careful, but definitely a possibility. दोनों attack कर रहे हैं. So let's see कौन succeed करता है. Tricky position for both players. एक बार मैं jump करूंगा वापस in the game of Arjun, because chat कह रही है उन्होंने blunder कर दिया है. ये थी position I think जहां पे हमने देखा था knight c4 bishop c3 knight e5 best चाल, and you can see यहाँ बहुत tactics है. आता है g5 Shri, and look at this, knight e5 f4 and queen to d7 खेला उन्होंने. He wanted to take, and that was a blunder. And now Nicholas is even better.
Oh, I don't know why he played queen d7 though. Queen was fine on d8, but अभी भी इतना बुरा भी नहीं लग रहा है अर्जुन का position. But I think the clock situation actually gives an indication of what practical problems he is facing. Yeah, because Arjun he's never spent so much time. He's never been so low on time in this entire match.
Agreed. I mean, time से पता लग रहा है श्री,
By
because अर्जुन की शक्ल से
sacrificing a
पता नहीं
piece,
लगा.
I think by sacrificing a piece, I think he actually makes the situation a little bit easier for himself because अभी थोड़ा pieces तो exchange हो रहा है. And that is what we were talking that Black should try to do. White was not allowing it, but abhi he will succeed in eliminating some attackers. And he has 3 pawns for the piece. So practically position ease up to ho raha hai. And it's very important to have practically easy positions to play with this type of time situation because you want the moves to be easy to make. Naturally होना चाहिए.
अग्रीड. एंड क्वीन ई4 यहाँ पे इकलौती चाल है एक बड़ी एडवांटेज के लिए, बट विल ही प्ले? बिकॉज क्वीन ई4 के बाद आप बिशप के सामने अपनी क्वीन रख रहे हो, यू आर ऑल्सो लिविंग द बिशप हैंगिंग, सो नॉट easy to make that choice. And वो time difference कम होता जा रहा है. That was the main advantage जो निकोलस लेके बैठे थे. Shri, I think crucial moment in the game, but ideally you also want to stay ahead of Arjun on the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the moments, Sahil, when the strength difference clearly distinguishes itself. Queen D3 played by Nicholas.
By E4 only move now for Arjun. इकलौती चाल है यहाँ पे, खेलना ही पड़ेगा E4 उनको.
He well played. I can't imagine him playing any other.
And he plays it
so
on
he goes
the board. Yeah. Okay. Queen takes.
I think Queen D6 check.
Yeah, if Rook takes, Queen D6 check. Yeah, is the idea, I guess.
Yeah, and you're actually opening lines against the exposed white's king.
This is very, very dangerous, and suddenly, yeah.
So the game's momentum has shifted, yeah. Till that point, when before Arjun sacrificed that piece, it was white who was attacking. It was white who was throwing things at black's king. But Arjun, by sacrificing a piece, what he has done is he shifted the momentum. Now it is white who is defending against black's attack. And the time situation is also changing accordingly. And this kind of a momentum shift is very hard to face during a game. You are with an attacking mindset, you're trying to find ways to mate, and suddenly you have to do the opposite role. It's not easy to shift. This is where most mistakes happen.
Agreed. And time net बराबर हो चुका है chat. I think क्या लगता है? Arjun win, draw या loss? Do you think Arjun wins this game and takes it in just 3 matches? Do you think यहाँ पे Nicholas at least draw squeeze करके 4th game तक delay करेंगे? You know cricket की analogy फिर से याद आ रही है श्री, but sometimes ना it's just about staying in the game. Like कहते हैं ना कि ठीक है, even if you can't score at 10 runs and over, just score at 6, 7. Keep yourself in the game कि last में एक मौका तो मिले. And now look at this, knight c3, इकलौती चाल queen b7, और वरना you can resign. Queen h7 मत मारना भाई, बहुत tempting है, लेकिन नहीं मार सकते.
Queen b7 के साथ भी Queen b7 बाद भी क्या हो रहा है? After rook e8 or something, rook d8, rook e8. It's still not so clear how the attack continues.
Yeah.
I don't see how it is agreed. A draw. For now, I'm not moving that c3 knight because I don't want the white queen to come back. Queen e4. So rook d8. Rook d8 played by Arjun.
Apparently, rook d8 और e8 में difference ये था कि knight is controlling d1, but not e1. So rook e8 was better to prevent rook e1 from white. And now Nicholas is again better.
He has made the move. He's made rook e1.
Yeah.
I think the threat is rook e3 right now. Which wins the piece.
That is very
and
nice.
And if you take queen Nicholas into g5, I think queen c6 is the problem.
Oh, back rank checkmate. Super tricky. And rook trade के बाद तो basically just a piece down. So queen d6 played. Best move by Arjun. We saw it yesterday, Sri. -8 से वो एक game, I think प्रणव आनंद थे शायद, जिनके साथ वो -8 से भाई he drew that game. So you can never kind of say कि he has no chance.
Absolutely, Sahil. With these players,
Huge shift. Bhai, look at this. This was the position. Vidit could have
Wow.
just taken the knight and he was -4. But उन्होंने ये खेला and now it's lost for Vidit. Brilliancy knight f for a
Knight
queen
F4 is
sacrifice.
just brilliant. Raising where?
Wow. And if you take, there is a fork. Shri, and you just pick up everything. Every single bit of bits and pieces you pick up and it's over, yeah?
Yeah, and also with it doesn't have the time advantage. Yeah, typically people have when you blender, you still have a time advantage. You can fight. That is the drawback of trying to play precisely. If you make a slip, if you make a blunder, you don't have a cushion.
Oof, this is tough. By the way, Raunak Sadhwani ne game draw kar li hai. So he is the first guy to move to the semis. A tough match for Matthews Bluebomb. There it is. I think Raunak just repeated the moves. He had some better chances, but he was like, okay, draw is enough for me to move to the next round. So the first semi-finalist for us, Shri, we have him. Yeah, it's Raunak.
Very, very, very mature thing to do, Sahil, taking that repetition, and I think in line with my prediction so far.
Yeah, agreed. And now going to Arjun, as we have his camera, we can have his camera back if possible. What do you make of this position now? Again, similar structure to his last black game, yeah? वो knight versus pawns ऐसे करके चल रहा है.
Bro, I think this is going to go down the wire. I think clock is going to play a massive role in this match because there's not a lot of seconds, just barely 40 seconds each, and there's not enough time to actually finish this game. There's not enough time to checkmate.
I absolutely agree. And rook p3 क्या मस्त चाल लग रही है because now you force the trade of queens, rooks. आप a3 मारोगे. I think he's winning this, Shri. At least drawing this.
Yeah. I also think he's winning this because the time advantage is going to play a significant factor. White simply doesn't have enough time to win on the board, so someone has to win this on the clock.
Okay, there are some tactics for white. Some knight d6, knight.
Oh, rook check he should have played. But okay, who's going to find that with 10 seconds?
Agree. Bhai, it's a nerve-wracking position now. It's a draw. But कौन जीतेगा time पे 6 seconds versus 11 seconds. Shri, this is crazy.
11 seconds. Too much time advantage, bhai. 1 second is equal to 10 pre-moves. So that's like what 5 seconds advantage is equal to 50 pre-moves you can make. As long as you don't blender the rook.
You can't even offer a draw, Shri. There's no time to offer a draw. You can trade rooks and it'll be a draw. Will Arjun trade? He trades. Oh!
He goes for it. Oh, wow. Crazy.
He could have played on, I think. I think he would have likely even won this.
Could have played on.
Yeah.
But
okay,
it's not easy, I'll tell you what, with knight, white can give those checks. And if you can give those checks, it becomes harder to pre-move.
Agreed. I think a safe choice by Arjun. So Nicholas fights it out. He will go to the final game. And by the way, Pranesh defeats Vidit. So no, quick ending for Vidit there. He will have to play all the 4 games as well.
Yeah. Yep. No quick ending. And the dangerous thing for Vidit, Sahil, is Pranesh has momentum. So far, he was absolutely far from his best. But now that he has momentum, it's proper pressure on Vidit. And it's going to go down the wire. This is not going to be an easy game for Vidit anymore.
Agreed. And by the way, चौथा round start हो चुका है. But I want to quickly check this game because यहाँ पे 30 seconds. Ooh, that's a big blunder of Benjamin Boak. Karthikeyan could be back if he finds rook e5. Doesn't find it, Shri.
Too less time. It's just 20 seconds. And Karthikeyan trying to push the e pawn. He wants to play e7 and e8. That's his idea. But queen f5, I think, can prevent it from moving forward.
Crucial moment. Rook d8 खेला उन्होंने. Pawn दे दिया है. अब queen f5. Yeah. यहाँ पे भी h3 मार सकते हैं Benjamin Boak. Plays. Shri, क्या लग रहा है? क्या होगा यहाँ पे?
Game, but with that also he loses his mating chances. That's a problem. I think this is again down to the clock. Very precarious situation for Karthikeyan though, because if he loses on time, he's going to lose the match.
Yeah, agreed. A3 क्या चलती भाई? A3 felt like a weird
mouse slip, bro. Mouse slip. Pawn A4 जाना था. The A4 was definitely the intention, but A3 mostly hota hai. The mouse is important. It's not the least important thing. It matters. It's just that
Oh, okay. This
Magnus and
is
Hikaru don't get in these situations often.
why. As why do you take the draw? Yeah, he does take the draw. He's like, okay, I don't
Yeah,
want to
he
risk
has
it,
to.
and
He
there
has
wasn't
to.
much to do. Yeah. So that means this match will also go into the final round. So I think only Raunak's game ends. So let's go to Arjun's game. Final match. He seems to be already winning. What happened here? This was the position A3 and Queen E7 check. A big mistake by Nicholas again in the opening on the 10th move.
Oh my god, his position has been destroyed. Yeah, the problem with Queen is on check. You know what side? Abhi, that bishop on f8 is very hard to develop. Castling is very hard to do. He can still do g6 and bishop g7 though. So maybe it's not totally clear why it's such a big blunder to me.
Also knight
He
attack
goes
पे
back
so
knight
इसको हिलना
a6, but
पड़ेगा.
white is a
Yeah.
pawn up, and he will I think be able to develop very quickly. Bishop c4 cancel करके.
Oh, this is, and if the rook
Black's
comes
pieces
to
are just
E1,
not coming
Shri.
into the game on time.
Yeah, exactly. अगर रुक E1 आ गया, this could be very dangerous, and time difference भी I think Arjun के favor में. So Arjun is dominating the game, and also want to ask you about Vidit now, because what sort of impact would Vidit be facing in his mind right now? Because he must be like, yeah, I was almost there, I blundered, and now I need a draw. So you don't know what to do. Do you play it safe? Do you attack? Like, it's always a double-edged mind you're playing with.
You simply don't have that option. Vidit will definitely try to go for something safe. He went for the Catalan opening, based on his years of classical experience. But Pranesh doesn't allow him that kind of a safe and solid position. He has plunged the position into chaos right from the beginning. Like a stonewall structure with black queen e8, queen coming to h5, rook f7, rook h7. That's his most dangerous idea. Generally, these positions it's not so easy to checkmate though, because even if you get the dream formation with queen h5, rook f7, rook h7, the white rook can simply move rook d1, and as long as the bishop on g2 is alive, it's not so easy to checkmate.
Yeah, these positions are
It's going to
always
be a
tricky.
long
For
drawn out
example,
battle.
yeah, and best चाल यहाँ bishop e4 है, which I would not even consider. The idea is king g2 and simply rook h1, and that just completely destroys any attack. But not an easy move to play for Vidit, who is thinking for a while right now. So let's jump back to Arjun, जहाँ पे उन्होंने after knight a6, knight f3 खेला and queen to f6. So black अभी भी bishop यहाँ डेवलप करना चाहते हैं, but bishop g5, another tempo on the queen, Shri.
Yeah, another tempo on the queen. The queen will likely move to a light square, queen g6 or queen f5 jaisa, and then bishop will come to d3. Another way of playing is queen into b2. That looks so dangerous, bro. So it looks so dangerous because you just need one check on the e file to create a checkmate.
I think we have the names switched, but I think it's amazing to have both cameras. I love that. Can you just switch the names there? But Shri, I think for me, I feel like black has to go for it. Yeah, I mean, I queen g6, bishop d3, एक और free tempo लग रहा है मुझे.
It depends on what you calculate actually. If after queen into b2, the game ends in the next 2-3 moves, then you can of course play it as black. Your goal should be to try and take the game as deep as possible. Yeah, like MS Dhoni.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Srinath sounds so good. Yeah, I think Srinath has a lot of advice. By the way, Srinath has been the coach of many of these players, and I think how long did you work with Arjun for? I think it was like a long partnership. Yeah, I don't know if partnership is the correct word.
Yeah, it was pretty long. I think around 2018 to 23 on and off, but around 2022 and 23 we were working pretty intensely together.
And by the way, rook c1 blunder बता रहा है, so that was not the best move. I think logical लग रही है because वो शायद c3 square cover कर जाते थे. Shri, I think he did not want this option for black.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to understand what is the best move after going into b2, because I don't find it the kind of evaluation the computer shows.
It's apparently rook b1 and just giving up this pawn for free.
You want
That's
rook
the
b3,
best
rook
move.
e3, yeah? That's...
नहीं भाई, queen e2 is mate.
Queen into a3, that's queen e2 mate. But queen c3 check black will play.
Bishop d2 now. very like
Yeah.
interesting structure. And again, if you take, then it is, you're correct, rook b3 खेलना था. Wow, man, insane.
Okay, I mean, what Arjun is doing is, I think, perfectly sensible. First, in chess, you need to develop your pieces. It's something. It's a very basic advice, but it's something we forget very often. One of my coaches used to always keep reminding me, even after I became a grandmaster, that don't forget to develop your pieces in the opening. And
Really.
Theodoro did not
And
do that in the opening, actually.
Yeah, and now he's stabilizing, and also Vidit is worse again. Pranesh staging a huge comeback here, Shri. Look at the bar dipping down in black's favor. E2 pe pressure, h5 pressure. Yeah, this looks really tough.
Yeah. The momentum is certainly in Pranesh's side, and also the position. It's not so easy to play those positions, Sahib. Uh, once Pranesh has got this momentum, uh, it's going to be super difficult for Vidit to be able to save this game, I think.
Yeah, it was 2-0.
That one win was very
Now it's
important for him
2-1.
to have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
2-2
before
हो
this,
सकता है
actually,
फिर.
Vidit had a. Sorry.
Yeah, she continue.
Yeah, इस game के पहले Vidit had actually defeated Pranesh 3 times in a row, including the win yesterday. He had a crushing win against Pranesh, after which Pranesh didn't win a single game in the Indian qualifier yesterday. So Vidit was having that kind of a momentum advantage, but one win was all it needed for things to change.
Yep, and apparently Benjamin Boak is also winning against Karthikeyan. We'll come to that game soon. Right now, Vidit's king is trying to run. भाग रहे हैं वो यहाँ से, बट किस तरफ भागे? यहाँ बिशप है, यहाँ क्वीन है, यहाँ रुक है, एंड यहाँ होगे तो एक और बिशप है. भाई कोई सेफ हाउस नहीं लग रहा है मुझे इस किंग के लिए, श्री. जहां जाओगे वहां ब्लैक के पीस रेडी है.
एक्चुअली काउंटर अटैक करना चाहिए अभी. एस्केप नहीं है तो यू हैव टू ट्राई एंड attack the opponent king, like that scene in Durandar, when the part 1, when he couldn't save, when Ranveer couldn't save that guy, he had to go after the headquarters. So White needs to try and do that against the Black King, Abhi.
Yeah, and it's of course the queen will be needed. How do you get these pieces into the game right now? By the way, we have a pair of moves, and Bishop C5 is now the only move for Black Pranesh के लिए है. But I think काफी logical चाल है. Bishop C5, आप queen को attack कर रहे हो, आप F2 पे pressure बना रहे हो, then the queen can hop in either this way or this way, put more pressure, and Pranesh doing really well. एक खतरनाक comeback, but Bishop B5, एक blunder in that crunch moment, and Vidit is back.
Wow. So rook into E6. I think वो pawn नहीं देना चाहिए था. You should have gone Bishop C5 directly. Because okay, rook into E6 अभी भी Bishop C5 जा सकता है, but now White can just give up that rook. Yeah, he can put that rook to D4.
Okay, rook D4, and what does Black do now, Shri? This one move that's crazy, actually. Chat,
Which
question to you.
move is
What do you
crazy?
think? What do you think is the move? So I have the engine in front of me, but I'm going to ask you a question. What is the best move for Black? क्या खेलना चाहिए यहाँ पे प्रणेश को? Crucial moment. सोच रहे हैं, 2 minute extra है उनके पास. What can he do to blow open matters here a little bit? थोड़ा सा ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, कैसे तहलका मचाने के लिए इस बोर्ड के ऊपर अभी.
No clue. Position looks so complex. I think I'll need I'll need hours to find the best.
Yeah, the move was rook takes f4, and rook takes f4 पे queen से नहीं मार सकते because rook है, pawn से मारना पड़ेगा, and now he had to play rook c8. Extremely tough, Shri, and I think उन्होंने direct rook c8 खेला, but Vidit के पास एक rook f6 का option है which he has to find or he's busted.
I don't think he's going to find it. No, these things, even with the engine, it's so difficult to understand. Engine के बिना इतना कम time से chance ही नहीं है.
Yeah, गाना है इंजन के बिना क्या जीना यारो भाई. Rook f4 again possible, by the way. Blue arrow में बता रहा है only move.
That's just transposition, no?
Yeah.
It just goes to the same line. But again, it's so
Absolutely.
hard to understand why it's so strong, why it's so powerful.
Agreed. And that's why, computers are becoming very, very strong now, especially at chess. Vidit completely lost, but practically दोनों players को नहीं पता eval bar में क्या हमें पता है. We can see black is just winning, but both the players, of course, might they know okay who's kind of controlling matters, but best move निकालना, as we saw, is not easy, Shri, in a real game with time pressure, kind of breathing down your neck.
Absolutely. Absolutely not easy. Position इतना complex है, and these kind of positions, even no matter how winning your side, एक move में सब कुछ change हो सकता है. I had a very similar
Yeah.
game yesterday against Lorenzo Lodici. I was completely winning, but one move I played extremely fast, and the entire evaluation flipped completely. So it can very easily happen, and it's not so easy as a player to rook into d5 taken, queen f7. Yes, queen f7 wins. It wins a rook, no?
It does, no? Wait, what's the plan? Wait, that's a good point. रुक के पास squares ही नहीं है भाई. That's a very good point. And queen seven इकलौती चाल भी है. So what is Vidit's plan here?
No idea,
what?
but then Vidit was already losing a rook, so.
Oh, this is very
But why is the
interesting.
bar zero?
Why?
Like, how's the bar zero?
Chat, this is where I think हमें अपने silicon monster की मदद लेनी पड़ती है. And the move is kind of crazy, and it is rook g6 check. You
Okay,
take,
queen into
and now
g6,
the
e6.
The queen b3, Shri. Queen b3. Queen b3. Threatening some discover attack with this rook with some way, and it is equal. I mean, good luck for Vidit for finding that with 2 minutes on the clock, bhai. Impossible.
Actually, दो तरीका का evaluation bar होना चाहिए. One what Stockfish shows 0.0, and then the human evaluation bar, and probability of finding rook g6 queen b3.
That's
Which
a
I think
great
is,
suggestion, by the way. Ooh, doesn't find it, yeah? Of course he doesn't. Very hard, Shri. Very hard to
Because he
find
doesn't
that.
find
And
it.
Sahaj,
शायद classical पे हो सकता है.
हाँ, सहज कह रहे हैं चैट में, आई एम लुकिंग एट दैट जूसी रुक c1. एब्सोल्युटली भाई, दैट्स सच अ स्ट्रॉन्ग आइडिया फॉर ब्लैक. हमेशा यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट अबाउट इट एवरी सिंगल मूव. एंड अभी कुछ थ्रेटिंग कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे वो, बट ब्लैक
Rook
शुड हैव अ
d8
सोल्यूशन
check.
टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस. Yep, with the queen hanging. So what does black do now?
Um,
Bishop e8. Ooh.
Bishop e8 makes sense. Check नहीं हो सकता अभी. Bishop will come to f7, I think. Protect the queen on e6. And you can, I think, make everything safe. You just need to defend everything because loose pieces drop off. LPDO.
You know, I'm gonna stay on this game, but apparently Nicholas is beating Arjun.
Wow.
We have the camera, so I'm gonna stay here for now.
Crazy.
Could we just keep the same cameras and just switch the board? I would love to. Oh no, he made a blunder. He made a blunder. Okay, now let's stick here. But okay, man, he was winning, yeah? Insane.
I can imagine that though. एक दो मूव के लिए हो सकता है, but for the entire game it's a different story.
Bye.
Yeah.
Now Arjun is winning. भाई दो चालों में पूरा जज्बात ही बदल दिए. He was lost, it was draw, now it's winning in just 2 moves.
Yeah, no, I'm totally not surprised with that. With Arjun turning it around like that, having been on the other side of it 1,000 times.
Shri, Pranesh has just blundered with rook d7 and apparently
Bishop
rook
f5.
d6.
Yeah, क्या हो रहा?
Yeah.
Oh,
There was some
rook d6
bishop-
is brilliant.
We can look at it, yeah. Rook d6. If you take, there is bishop d5 losing
Now
the
bishop
queen.
Would have been so
But okay, he
brilliant.
takes. But e6 is now winning for Vidit. Played.
Yeah, yeah, it can change. The game can change. अभी queen is a bishop e5 check or queen f5.
Why?
King
This
g8.
is
I think maybe just queen f5. Yeah? I think the moves for Vidit is easy. It's not difficult now. Queen f5 and now the 2 bishops and queen. It's actually winning for Vidit. Pranesh is
Bye.
reaching out
He's
for a
gonna
bottle
take
of
it home.
water.
Yep. I think Vidit is going to take it home. He is going to win this one. And finish the match with a 3-1 score. But I am telling you, this was not easy at all. Vidit completely winning, Arjun completely winning, and Benjamin completely winning. So likely our 4 semi-finalists होंगे. First of all, Raunak, जो पहले qualify करे 3 ही matches में. Next, I think Vidit. Next, Arjun. And next, Benjamin Bok. ये 4 very likely to be our semi-finalists now.
Absolutely, but I'm not totally sure about Benjamin Bok yet, Sahil. Arjun, I think we can be sure he would. If he has not already won,
He won.
I'm pretty sure he's going
He
to
won.
win.
He won.
Okay, so
He just won. I think Nicholas checkmate हो गए. So whichever fate just takes and checkmate. So he resigns. And Arjun at the end wins with a 3-1 score. Let's jump to Vidit's game quickly again. Here we are, Shri. Oof.
oh, this is the end. This is the end. It's checkmate. It's over.
Oh, he
It's
played
over.
Queen
Wow,
G7.
what a turn
He
around.
played Queen G7. Wow. Yeah, not happy with this game, I think. Okay, let's jump to Karthikeyan's game.
This is still alive. This is still alive because Abhi, okay, the position he's down. Very bad position for black. But I see also the clock situation, and here it's not so much time for Bok.
Yeah.
So
And-
this could go into the Armageddon.
Agreed. And chat, we have
could
8
go into
people watching
super
just
over.
on Chess 24 India. जल्दी से स्ट्रीम लाइक कर दो भाई. Let's get more people in. 8 प्लेयर आए थे. पहले तो बहुत सारे थे कल. अब 8 प्लेयर आज आए for the close qualifiers. Already 3 प्लेयर्स घर जा चुके हैं. चौथे वाले इनमें से एक घर जाएंगे. And then 4 प्लेयर्स फाइट करेंगे in the semis. And Shri, they are 1 step away from the finals in Mumbai. एक कदम दूर पे गलतियां बहुत होती हैं. And I can tell you already. So it is going to be Vidit versus Raunak. 1 semi-final pairing is already confirmed. I can see it on the results page. So, bhai, who do you think is the favorite there?
Impossible to choose a favorite. But based on classical chess, it would be with it. But in esports, I think Raunak is a bit of a favorite in my estimate.
Yeah, and I think he has played great chess. 3-0, almost 3-0 win, 2.5 half against Mathis Blum today. And of course, Arjun दूसरे सेमीफाइनल में क्वालिफाई कर चुके हैं. वो इंतजार कर रहे हैं इनके विनर का. But there is some potential in Karthikeyan's position, at least thanks to the clock. 31 seconds है बेंजामिन बोक के पास ये गेम at least draw करने के लिए.
Yeah, Bok को ये issue है. He goes very low on time. He's also the same age group as mine. I think 1 year or younger or older, but we have played in age group events and he does go very low on time. Now you can do that when there's increments, but when there's no increment, when you go down on time, there's no escape. But Karthikeyan will need to ruthlessly flag, and I'm sure that's not something he's used to. He's not an esport player. He's
Agreed.
trying to find the best moves.
Agreed. And I think Rook F1 के बाद the queen has to go to G6. It does feel like ये H pawn is a huge thorn in Black's camp. Knight यहाँ कंट्रोल कर रहा है, pawn यहाँ कंट्रोल कर रहा है. एक चेक, आखिरी चेक हो सकती है यहाँ पे. Rook F1 आया, Knight F6 सीधा भाई Black इनके सामने जाके बैठ गए हैं. And if you take this, then other pieces also come in. This feels very tough. 27 seconds I think might be enough for Benjamin here.
It seems so, but with Black, you just need to defend against immediate threats like Knight f6, Rook attack, so Rook e6. And okay, what was that hand gesture by Karthikeyan?
Oh, I missed it, yeah? Maybe he
did something like this.
he also missed
So
something
Knight
maybe.
g4 played by White, Queen d8, something like that is incoming. So maybe King e8, yeah, that's what he's played. Just defend against immediate threats, make sure you're not losing anything immediately. And whenever possible, try and create threats against the opponent, so he has to think. I would play Queen h5 here, try and get the queens off. Normally a disastrous thing, he's gone for it. Because with the queen, it's very easy to checkmate. Without the queen, it takes longer to checkmate.
I think this is
You have to be
a show
watchful of
confidence
blunders
from
like
him.
bishop into e4. Because the rook e5.
Yeah.
Now f5 incoming.
I feel like this is a show of confidence from Benjamin. Ki bhai, I'm going to win this game. And look at the rook on h5 right now for black. It's completely trapped. It's completely trapped.
Completely trapped, but you can, I think, play some f4 check and get it out. He now rook into h6, rook into e4, king into e4. Benjamin's stepping closer towards that win, but still some distance to go. Bishop g7, very good move. Once that knight is off, it's game over, and the knight is getting traded by force. Maybe c5. Okay, this is, I think,
Lost.
it gets too easy once white gets a passed pawn, because now he can just pre-move.
Yep. He's trying, but I think it's going to be tough. The bishop is ready कि जब भी आप c2 पे लाओगे मैं उसको उड़ा दूंगा बिना देखे. So, still holding on. He tried a3, but white was ready.
Bishop into a2.
भाई 4 सेकंड है 4 सेकंड है. But okay, draw is enough, right? Bhai, I think he could win this one. What? Oh, he won. Wow.
Yeah, at some point, Benjamin was the one who had more time.
Yeah. But okay, Karthikeyan was close, almost there in the final position. He's actually winning. Yeah, he is the one who queened. But Benjamin just kind of played on the clock, and maybe that was the best practical decision. So we have our 4 finalists, Sri. After halfway through today's stream, halfway through today's battle, अब वो 4 लोगों को दोबारा खेलना है. They must be tired, तो गलतियां और होंगी.
It's going to be super exciting. Arjun plays against Benjamin Bok and Vidit against Raunak. Both are going to be super exciting semi-final matchups. But I think Arjun he's a significant favorite in the matchup against Bok.
Very, very interesting. So, chat, if you're joining us, I think आपने देखा है अभी अपने सामने जो खतरनाक एक हमने क्वार्टर फाइनल्स देखा. अब सेमी फाइनल्स में 4 खिलाड़ी तैयार हैं. It's 3 Indians and it's 3 very, very strong Indians, of course, and Benjamin Bok playing a fabulous match, defeating Karthikeyan Murli. And of course, there were kind of some moments, Sri, जहाँ पता नहीं था कौन qualify करेगा, but I would say I think our predictions are pretty much, on point. And अब finals में कौन जाएगा is the question. एक spot, so 25% chance, Sri, yeah, for the EWC spot for each player here.
Yeah, absolutely. Max is dangerous, but I think 25% roughly.
Yep. So, chat, I think we're going to take like a 5-minute break now, and then we're going to be back on the other side. And Shri, एक बार के लिए आपसे पूछना था क्या prediction है दोनों matches की, before we go on the break.
I'll stick to my first prediction. I think Arjun significant favorite. Bok ke saath. Raunak with it is 50-50, but I think I'm slightly leaning towards Raunak.
That's a fair prediction. I think I'm going to lean slightly towards Vidit. Let's see क्या होता है. मजा आएगा देखने में. Chat, do not go anywhere. It's going to be exciting. EWC का spot एक ही है, but finals में 2 लोग जाएंगे जो live होगा मुंबई में on 4 July. So फिलहाल के लिए आज का एक मैचअप बाकी है, उसमें similar format होगा again 4 games, and let's see कौन होते हैं जो मुंबई जाएंगे. So we'll take a very short break. एक 5 मिनट वापस आएंगे with the semi finals. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. That was an amazing quarterfinals at India Rising close qualifiers. Welcome, Shri, back to the broadcast. Shri, I think what we saw was amazing. We saw a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of upsets, and अंत में 4 प्लेयर घर चले गए खाली हाथ. Of course, they did win a part of the prize pool, but at the end, जो 4 प्लेयर आगे बढ़े, उनके सपने अभी भी जिंदा हैं to get that EWC spot. And of course, आज एक crucial step है in that journey. They have to overcome somehow. And उनके opponents भी वही चाहते हैं. You know, chess is a brutal game, right? Because एक ही बंदा आगे बढ़ेगा and it's all on you. And there you see the results. Love this graphic there. 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. That tells you कि even though I think थोड़ा ipsy-turvy games थी, at the end one player dominated for in all the games, Shri.
Absolutely, Saran. One player totally dominated for sure. Bok did get better position in most of the games and managed to convert them more often than not. Arjun completely dominating and converting the positions better than Nicholas, although he had his chances. And now we have the upcoming semi-finals. The first one is between Benjamin Bok against Arjun Erigaizi. What are your thoughts on that, Saran?
I think I have to echo your thoughts a bit here. I think Arjun should be the clear favorite. एक चीज़ बेंजामिन कर सकते हैं इस स्टार्ट ऑफ वेल. हमने देखा कि पहली गेम जो अर्जुन ने खेली अपने क्वार्टर फाइनल में, उन्होंने एक रिस्की ओपनिंग स्ट्रक्चर खेला. निकोलस को चांसेस मिले, देयर वर अपॉर्चुनिटीज हिडन एंड ही कुडंट कन्वर्ट देम. वो एंड गेम जो याद है. सो आई थिंक एक जेन्युइन अपॉर्चुनिटी है. इवन दो एज वी सी वर्ल्ड रैंकिंग में बहुत डिफरेंस है यहाँ पे in terms of the actual strength, the age, like it's just Arjun all the way. But एक अच्छा, you know, well begun is half done, Shri. अगर पहले गेम बेंजामिन जीत जाते हैं, that would put a lot of pressure on Arjun. I think that's the only way Benjamin can move forward here.
Absolutely, and also what is heartening for Benjamin is the fact that he has reached this far, which was not easy.
Agreed. And of course, the second semi-final in front of us, Raunak arguably has been one of the most clinical players in this entire event. Just kind of smoothly आ गए, मतलब यहाँ तक वो कोई ऐसे इप्सी-टर्वी गेम्स नहीं थी. बट विदित गुजराती कंप्लीटली ऑपोजिट. मतलब हमें कुर्सी पे ढंग से बैठने ही नहीं देते वो लोग. मतलब बार ऊपर नीचे ऐसे घूमता है, ऐसे मतलब एमेचर गेम्स चल रही हूँ. एंड ऑन पेपर अगेन विदित सीम्स टू बी द फेवरेट, बट रौनक ऑफ कोर्स हैज बीन स्टेबल as a cucumber during this entire event. So let's see क्या होता है. The games have just begun. Let's dive into the action, chat. Do like the stream. This is the semi-finals of India Rising. Fight कर रहे हैं EWC spot के लिए 4 players, and अब 2 ही players जाएंगे मुंबई for the finals. Because Arjun Erigaizi has the white pieces against Benjamin Bok. And Shri, wanna get your opinion? Like, what's going on in Arjun's mind? What's going on in Benjamin's mind? यहाँ पे like just take us through like what players could be thinking one step away from the goal.
I imagine Arjun must be thinking, okay, things as usual. I played a good match. Now I need to continue what I'm doing. And in Bok's case, he will think that he always has a chance against Arjun. Arjun always takes risks. He creates chances. He creates complexities. And if you look at their head-to-head, they play a lot online. And now you have the title Tuesday. You have the 3-0 Thursdays. And Bok has actually done pretty well against Arjun. So it's not like the Arjun-Theodoro matchup where Arjun had a 7-1 score. But the last 4 times that they have played in 2026 March, out of those 4 times, Bok has defeated Arjun 3 times in 3-0 Thursday games, which are all without increment. So this can actually be a lot closer than what we anticipated from the beginning.
I love the stats, and यही ज़माना है आजकल, ऑनलाइन ज़माना है. You see like title Tuesday every week, लोग fight कर रहे होते हैं. We see Magnus, Hikaru's of the world play it, and right now we see Arjun, who's won it multiple times, by the way. So should be a favorite, but I agree with you, Shri. I think इनका आपस में बहुत games हुई होंगी, and of course in this shorter time control, anything is possible. 4 game का match है तो you still have to back Arjun there to finish this job off. But as of now, Bishop E3. एंड ये दोनों क्वींस थोड़ी ऑकवर्ड है भाई. ये बिशप्स की क्या गलती, क्या पाप किए थे पिछले जन्म में इन्होंने कि दोनों को निकलने का मौका नहीं मिल पा रहा है.
हाँ, क्या करें, it's just life sometimes. But yeah,
या
Scotch defense is the opening played in this game, which is something Arjun plays quite often in this particular setup with 8h4. We the queens will move from their cozy spots to allow the bishop and the king and the rook to take their respective spots. Both the queens, I'm sure, will move. In fact, they have moved. Queen is extremely common idea in these kind of setups. Bishop e7 and short castle incoming. I guess Arjun will also move his queen to allow that bishop. I like the setup with queen c2, bishop d3, and that will create some problems for black to castle on the king side. Meanwhile, that knight can get developed to f3 in the future. Knight d2, knight f3.
या लव दैट. इन नाइट g5 भी जा सकता है सपोर्टिंग दैट क्वीन c2 मूव. एंड यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन मार्क ये दिखा रहा है, बट आई एब्सोल्युटली लव दिस मूव बिकॉज वो ब्लैक के सबसे ऑब्वियस प्लान के अगेंस्ट टारगेटेड है. सो अगर ब्लैक नॉर्मल चेस खेलेगा, बिशप e7, क्वीन c2, परफेक्ट पोजिशन.
Yeah, perfect position. I see Bok taking a lot of time. Yeah, this actually can be a crucial factor in their matchup style. The statistics I mentioned earlier, they were all 3+0 games, and in 3+0, when you have only 3 minutes, you don't have a lot of time to fall behind. But when you have 10 minutes, you have a bigger ceiling of how much time you can take early on, which means you can fall more and more behind in time. And I expect that to happen in this match. I feel this can be the theme of this match, where Bok is going to struggle on the clock.
Yeah, that is definitely possible. Arjun, one of the best blitz players in the world. So he is gonna pile on the pressure. G6, by the way, but does feel like H5 hook के लिए कल को Bishop D4 भी आ सकता है on a good day. So could weaken some squares. Well, if he can switch the cameras, I think because Arjun is white, he can be maybe below. But meanwhile, Shri, I think मेरे हिसाब से 1.5 मिनट की edge, potential attack building up with H5. If you had to choose a color, let's say equal strength के players खेल रहे हैं, अब white लोगों की black इस position में.
I would take white. White, I think, has a little more initiative. So white decides things, which direction the game goes in, whether he wants to attack towards the king side or he wants to choose something more solid. वो white के control में है अभी.
आई लव चैट बाय द वे. चैट कह रही श्रीनाथ भाई कैसी क्वेश्चन मार्क वाली मूव्स बता रहे हो बिकॉज इंजन ने क्वेश्चन मार्क बोला ना भाई. आई थिंक आई थिंक देयर इज प्रैक्टिकल चेस एंड देयर इज स्टॉकफिश चेस. स्टॉकफिश चेस बोलेगा हाँ भाई कुछ और खेलो, बट आई थिंक क्वीन c2 इज अ मार्वलेस मूव प्रैक्टिकली बिकॉज आपने यहाँ पे ब्लैक के किंग साइड के अगेंस्ट आपने प्रेशर बनाया है एंड बिशप d3 इज अ ग्रेट स्क्वायर फॉर द बिशप. सो g6 खेला है, दैट्स व्हाई यू सी g6. या यू ऑलरेडी सी इट ऑन द बोर्ड and not ideally something black really wanted to play.
वैसे इसलिए मैं चेस नहीं खेलता हूँ because I automatically go towards question mark moves.
And by the way, look at Arjun heading off to the end game. Queen c3 move attacking that rook कोने में. So bishop g7 possible नहीं है. So Benjamin ने कहा चलो भाई queen e5 इकलौती move. Let's trade queens. And maybe it's close to equal, but I still kind of like white. Maybe this structure is not the best. Maybe white has 2 pawn islands, black has 3, and endgame में थोड़ा push कर सकते हैं maybe.
Definitely, completely agree with that. So abhi if white takes queen into e5, at d into e5, what happens is we get a structure where white has 3 pawns on the queen side, black has only 2. And automatically queen side mein black has 4 and white has 3. But when you have 3 versus 2, which is called queen side majority, it's easier to create a passed pawn on that side. You only need 1 pawn break. Whereas it's more difficult for black on the king side to be able to create a passed pawn. Of course, there are other factors because there are a lot of pieces around. But essentially, sometimes it gives you the tiny advantage when you have a queen side majority.
Yep, and by the way, Arjun has played this on the board. Knight develop करते हैं c3 पे, bishop e6 इस pawn की तरफ नजर रखते हुए. So can't move b3, taking care of everything. Maybe bishop यहाँ पे यहाँ आने के बदले bishop b4 Benjamin can consider. We can see him on the camera, by the way. He is deep in thought. The time difference has equalized. So far, Benjamin fighting blow for blow, not giving Arjun any advantage whatsoever. He plays f5 though. That's an ambitious choice.
Yeah, a very good move as well. Taking more control in the center, trying to advance these central pawns, and it restricts white's pieces from getting on the squares. Like the knight can't go to e4, and the f4 square is controlled. So it takes away. When you have more space, you control more territory. Long castle.
Yep.
King needs to be safe in the endgame as well. And there are a lot of pieces right now, so it's not like those complete endgames either.
Yep, and ऐसे देखने में डर लग रहा है बिशप a3 check king यहाँ f4 check यहाँ से check, but luckily we have bishop d3 at the end, and then we can control the e4 square, so no risk there whatsoever. But let's see what Benjamin plays. Yes, he has castle queenside. कोई कह रहा है chat में, I hope Benjamin wins so that he'd be a little jet lagged in the finals. Chat is going way deep. Yeah, they're like, because Benjamin has to travel longer, he might be jet lagged and the other guy might be. So chat is like going very deep into this exact circumstantial, analysis there.
Crazy. That sounds like a Vidit fan though.
True. But
I see a lot of people being Vidit fans on the chat. People are. I think Vidit must be the most popular player amongst those in the SM fans right now. Yeah.
Very interesting. I've done a Google search trend list analysis of this, and India with the most search for player. Chat, any guesses who that is? I think should be obvious. Most search chess player from India.
There are two people.
Yes, but I think in current times, I think maybe we change the years, then it could be, I think we know, then it will be Vishy sir. But because it is like current times, it's one player. By the going to the Vidit game, because we have Vidit fans, let's show you what's happening in that game. This is the current position. I love the knight on f4, by the way, Shri.
Yeah, completely agree with that. The knight on f4 looks lovely, but it's not threatening anything immediately for now. So I think the white's position also looks solid.
Agreed. And chat kariye Magnus, Nehal, Prag, Gukesh, Sindharo, maybe not. Vishy sir, I see Divya, I see multiple options with it. But the thing is, Vishy sir ka naam na, it's like Vishy sir, Vishy Anand, Vishwanathan Anand, like there's so many alternatives that ek naam ka search results will never reach the top, right? So that's the thing. The most popular name is, any guesses, Shri, who it is?
Gukesh, no?
Yes, it is Gukesh. He's by far the most searched. Like there's no competition, not even close. Then there is, I think, Prag, who comes in second. Then there is Arjun and Divya, who come in, it's kind of third, fourth, and so on. It's close. And then, of course, there are other players as well. But I think Gukesh by far is the most. It makes sense because he's the world champion. So majority of people who don't follow chess maybe came into the game via Gukesh.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely makes sense. I think it pays being a world champion.
It pays very well. Meanwhile, we have Vidit Gujarati, by the way, former India number 1, playing it out in this position against Raunak. He has the black pieces. White ने सारे piece A file में लाए. Black ने कहा चाहिए ही नहीं भाई A file तुम रख लो.
हाँ, black is like तुम A file रख लो, मैं G file रखूंगा. तुम A file में जो भी कर लो, but I just want your king.
Yeah.
So I think Raunak is going for a queen trade. He wanted to play queen d5. Vidit sees that. He sidesteps it, and queen d5 is a blunder.
Yeah, queen h3 and queen takes f3 aa raha hai, Shri. He missed queen takes f3.
It's so simple. Raunak should have played a king h1 move earlier.
Yeah. साहिल हेट्स अर्जुन. ये लो भाई, ये आ गए चैट में. साहिल भाई गूगल ट्रेंड्स का डेटा बता रहा हूँ भाई. मैंने गूगल ट्रेंड में फीड नहीं किया है भाई. आई लव अर्जुन बाय द वे, बट मैं आज रात को बैठ के 10,000 बार अर्जुन सर्च करूंगा ताकि वो आज रात के लिए ऊपर आ जाए. बट ओके, इट्स हैपेंड. Shri on the board, and now Vidit is winning.
Yeah, now the game changes style because till that time I thought 3 minutes massive advantage है clock में. It's going to be tough for Vidit, but with that one blender, the game changes completely. And with it, you have to be very careful. Yeah, he looks like okay, he plays slow, he gets down on time, and then suddenly he just changes it around and beats his opponents on the board.
Yeah, I think you can never ever, he doesn't have a chance in the game, always fights till the very end. Of course, that means he's going to mess up some winning positions, but that means he's going to cover up in some lost ones. And right now, how does White create chances? I feel like the Black King is also a bit open. And maybe your strategy, Shri, of going for the counter attack maybe could be the better one. But I don't see how do I get to the Black King.
You have to hit C7 somehow. But the tricky thing is G2 is weak, C7 is weak. These are the two weaknesses this position में. C7, there was a path forward through rook A7. But abhi if you move the rook on E2, the G2 pawn becomes endangered. So this is the difficulty being faced by White. So he goes rook
And
F2. I think he wants to play G3.
Ah. Oh, mistake. But okay, he didn't capitalize on it. And now Black gets the A file, Shri, suddenly.
Yeah,
Okay.
but okay, A5, I don't think they are carrying so much, but I'm not sure if Vidit should have given that C7 pawn so easily. Because now what happens is the D6 and B6 pawns are also falling. But I think Vidit sees that if you take on B6, maybe after rook G6, it becomes difficult to defend G2.
And it feels like the bar says it's slightly better for Vidit, but it's not factoring in the clock chat. That's very important. Look at Vidit's clock. He has 1 minute 23 seconds versus 4.5 for Raunak, and that kind of sums it up why Raunak has done so well. He has more than triple the time that Vidit has. That is insane time management skills by Raunak, Shri.
Absolutely, he plays super fast. And it gets very intimidating when someone plays at that speed. Queen into B6, he takes queen into C4 though. He takes the other pawn, which it can be dangerous for white if for black if that B pawn manages to run away. But white has to be extremely careful. And you can see a little bit of difference though from how Raunak played as opposed to Pranesh. Pranesh kept playing fast. He kept, he never stopped. He never took a pass. Raunak is doing that. He's making a pass when things are getting difficult.
Very interesting. Here, Vidit is slightly better there. Benjamin is slightly better against Arjun as well. By the way, Vidit's advantage seems to be increasing because he's completely cut off the queen from the defense. Queen C2, but the rook endgame should be winning for black. Yeah, I mean, this pawn is too weak. It's hard to push it.
Absolutely, the rook game is definitely winning for black, and those pawns are connected. They're together. Whereas white's B passed pawn is isolated. It's going to go much slower than black's connected pawns.
Yep, and you can see the power of these pawns. Vidit, by the way, looks very confident right now. I see some stress on Raunak's face. He is sensing this is tough to save. Yeah, and there are back rank issues as well. The king is far away from the center. Black can just push these pawns all the way. Rook F1, but can you even take that pawn? I mean, it's very hard. Okay, he's trying to force a repetition, but don't think it exists.
Yeah, he's trying to force a repetition. He's trying to play fast, but with it, it's too easy for him. He has too much technique and class to be able to bother by these small problems. And 55 seconds is ample time. He can play 3 games with this amount of time from this position.
And in the end game, why is the king an important piece? If the king was on E3, I think white is drawing this. Like, you see the power of the king, right? Chat, isliye end game mein king ko, you have to bring it to the center. Good chances to hold that one, but abhi it is completely done. And 55 seconds though, Shri, is it enough time? It is!
Oh, he's won already. He's straight up
Raunak
won.
resigned. Wow. So Vidit takes the first win in his match against Raunak. Huge win with the black pieces. Let's jump to Arjun, who has equalized now against Benjamin, and it's a race with 2 pawns versus 2 pawns. Shri, what do you make of this position?
Immediately, I see that the pawn which is farther away is more dangerous, the B pawn. So it's more dangerous. But the problem is, white has only 2 pawns, Sahil, and for black, it's so easy to sacrifice that knight for the b pawn and capture the g pawn, and that will be a draw.
Yep. Very, very possible actually. And also time is still a factor. I think Arjun now slightly हल्का सा आगे है Benjamin से, and psychologically बहुत pressure पड़ता है, हमें पता भी है, in terms of being fast. While Benjamin does play a lot of online chess as well, maybe Arjun might be just a bit faster. So कहीं ना कहीं he's trying to find the best way to hold this, and he does take that pawn tree as you mentioned.
Yeah, he takes the pawn, and then next the king is going to come to g3. I don't see how white can defend the g2 pawn, because if you defend with bishop f1, black will play king f2 and force the white to either give up the pawn or the bishop. And if you don't, then after the capture of g2 pawn, it's a draw.
Agreed. I think very hard to imagine Arjun pulling off a win here. He's gonna maybe try a bit. Maybe, okay, knight f2, attacking the bishop, important. Save that first. Saves it, f3. Okay, if you play h3, now it's controlled for now. It's some sort of zugzwang, yeah? Like both players can't really make huge improvements.
No, black
Okay,
can.
h3
He
now.
plays h3, okay.
Yeah. So that's a draw. So that means Vidit की second game चालू हो चुकी है. Arjun takes that draw. Benjamin, I think, looks quite stressed. Let's not forget they've already played a quarter-final. So सारे players थक रहे होंगे श्री, and blunders बढ़ते जाएंगे. Let's jump to Vidit again. Already g5 on the board. Raunak going for the kill now.
Yeah, Dutch defense, one of Raunak's signature openings, but he needs to be careful. White threatens to play a6, shutting out the bishop from the diagonal. He needs to keep that bishop on the diagonal, so he plays rook b8, preparing the square a8 for that bishop in case it gets attacked. Meanwhile, he has a very simple plan on the king side here. Queen h4, rook f6, rook h6.
Oof, that's a very deadly plan, and because there's no knight on f3, it looks very hard. In fact, the plan to defend against that is not clear to me at all. And also would love to see that, that chart once of कि किसका कितना score है. Would be very nice to see that once for a few seconds. But meanwhile, white does have the huge center, but Raunak Sadhwani going for the kill. उनको वो बोलते हैं ना, he wants to equalize in this game. उनको game 3, game 4 का wait नहीं करना है, right? He's okay with losing 2.5 half, but he will not go down 2.5, 1.5.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also an emotional thing. When you lose, you immediately want to strike back, because win gives you that sweet feeling. It gives you the dopamine, and you don't want to delay it anymore. You don't want to, be patient, make a draw. It just doesn't work in so much in the esport format, and it doesn't suit Raunak's style either. He has to back his strengths.
Yep, and there you see it, with it taking that huge win in the semi-finals. The Arjun Benjamin game ended in a draw. देखते हैं क्या होगा, कौन जाएगा finals में. Let's have the board back, because pawns बढ़ते जा रहे हैं श्री. E5, F5. रौनक ने सारे pawn उठा के आगे फेंक दिए हैं, and the white king must be sweating. There is queen side play, there is central play, but king side पे क्या होगा? Rook F6 incoming next.
You need to push that queen away. You cannot let the queen stay. So you have to push the queen away. These positions are also typical when you play black against in Sicilian. Yeah, g3, attacking the queen, pushes the queen away. If you insist, if you go queen h3, then I think white pushes it away with rook moves and bishop f1. Let's say rook a1 and bishop f1 or anywhere. Black will not have enough time to checkmate. So for now, he has it under control. Black was queen e7. So he's proved
queen
the
e7?
weakness. But e4 is a brilliant move. Excellent move. He breaks the pawn structure of black on the king side.
But queen e7 was weird, right? Because now you can't go f4. g4 is hanging. And this is completely like ends your attack. Like एक full stop लग गया attack के ऊपर अभी. Like queen e7 was weird. Was there some logic behind it?
He just simply didn't see e4, I think. So he played queen e7. He wanted to attack with h5, h4. But he simply forgot that white can play e4, and now he's thinking. It's better to think before you have a problem, I think, rather than after the problem comes. But time is also an issue, and Vidit is showing that difference in skill level.
Yeah, with it right now, भाई 2-0 ले सकते हैं वो. Like he could be almost through to the top 2, and the crazy part is वो मुंबई में already रहते भी हैं तो उनके लिए ऊबर अवे है भाई वेन्यू, तो बड़ा आसान है उनके लिए पहुंचना. इज ऑलरेडी रेडी फॉर द फाइनल्स एज वेल.
Yeah, it's also he is prepared years in advance for this final.
True. So as you know, Vidit tries to consolidate his edge. Okay, we have the camera, so we'd love to stay for longer now. I see a lot of stress on Raunak's face, by the way. We also see on the camera behind him, the fair play camera. We take that very seriously. And right now, the question is, what does Raunak do to create chances? The fact that he's thinking for such a long time here tells you all you need to know. He's not able to see a clear plan. And black का light square bishop यहाँ बहुत दूर है from the f5 square. And he sacks that pawn temporarily, yeah?
Yeah, he had to do it. He had to do it to keep his pawn attack advancing. But the problem is not just losing this pawn, but it also gives squares like the e4 square for white's knight and the d3 square. All these things help white to advance in the center and king side as well. So, abhi white has an advantage already on the queen side, and now white has an advantage on the center and king side as well.
Yeah, domination on all fronts. That's the kind of game we want to win. By the way, एक नजर मारते हैं अर्जुन की गेम पे. We can even keep the same cameras if you want to. But look at this. Benjamin Boak, in fact, was much better, but is still slightly better against Arjun. But you know, this means nothing in most cases, Shri. Like हम कहते हैं Arjun is worse, and then suddenly it's equal. Suddenly he's winning. Like ये हर बार होता है. दिल्ली का सीन है.
But I think the difference is Boak seems to have come prepared for this match, Sahil. While we saw complete domination by Arjun in the quarterfinal from opening onwards, here he's not able to show that kind of dominance in the opening. Boak equalized comfortably with black, and now he's getting advantage with white. So that takes a key part of Arjun's strength away.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. एंड टाइम पे भी देर इज नो लीड फॉर ईदर प्लेयर. सो नेक टू नेक चल रहा है. पहला गेम ड्रॉ हुआ है इनका, बाय द वे. सो इसका मतलब जो भी यहाँ पे जीतेगा will go to 1.5 and would be one win away from just taking home the match. And Shri, I really want to hear from you on this, because you've worked with Arjun before and we saw Arjun missing out on many opportunities over many years. Last moment pe, right? Like he misses out on many opportunities. That was the World Cup a couple of times. And EWC, I think, is one of those events which he really wants to play. Like, what is missing? That X factor. एक चीज missing है अर्जुन, वो click हो जाएगा ना, final puzzle एक बार हो जाएगा. I feel like if he finishes the tournament first once, he's gonna go on a winning spree. Tuck first.
Absolutely, I think it's a combination of factors, Sahil. So sometimes you need a bit of luck for things to go your way, for things to change the momentum. But also successive failures, constant, close failures also, it causes trauma. So whenever you reach a similar situation, your brain starts playing out the old emotions. So it's a combination of both factors, I think. He needs a shift in momentum, but he also needs to try and find a way to psychologically get over the previous instances.
Agreed. And meanwhile, Benjamin Boak is the last hurdle, at least for today. He did play a brilliancy, by the way. Rook takes d4 and he's putting on pressure. Rook f8. यहाँ पे इकलौती चाल लग रही है अर्जुन के लिए to maintain equality. But even then, after Rook d1, you can literally bid your d6 pawn goodbye. And with the weaker king, I think it's still some potential for white here. देखते हैं Arjun, how does he handle this one? You can see Benjamin on the camera there with his head in his hands. You know, he's... Vidit, by the way, has won, we have been told. That is crazy. Wow.
Crazy.
He won already.
Oh, wow. Clinical play by Vidit. Clinical play, and now he's really getting into flow. He's really getting into the zone. So he has a score of 5-1 today against a combined Pranesh and Raunak. And this match is going in a very similar way to how the Pranesh match went.
This is impressive, really impressive. Yeah, we've not seen him play as much. वो vibe coding करते हैं आजकल काफ़ी. पता नहीं क्या उन्होंने vibe यहाँ पे set कर दिया हमारे लिए भी. Shri, he's playing some amazing chess. So let's jump back to Arjun, because that's the crucial game. By the way, d5, big mistake by Arjun. C takes d5, allows the capture, and now white has a strong pass pawn. ये pawn तो पूरा बढ़ता जाएगा, रोकना मुश्किल है इसको.
Yeah, absolutely. Pawn hai two knights, and the most concerning thing is black king safety. So d6 knight d5 will come next. Oh, f6 pawn is very weak. He has some very direct problems to solve immediately.
Agreed. And अभी तो white rook game में आया भी नहीं है. Imagine if that comes at some point. Okay, right now black has some counter play, so it's hard to, keep the rook advanced. But still, I think काफी ध्यान से खेलना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे अर्जुन को to survive in this game. But he is known to do this. Chat. So Arjun clearly is under pressure. Vidit वहां से 2-0 lead ले चुके हैं. Do you think Arjun holds this game? Yes or no? Or do you think Benjamin takes home this point? श्री अगर बेंजामिन जीत गए has a 1.5 lead तो भाई फिर बहुत pressure feel होगा अर्जुन को, and that pressure can really sometimes reduce your strength significantly.
But Sahil, I think Arjun will not lose this one. It's a bold call looking at the position. But, considering all the different factors, the time factor, Arjun, Bog, their psychological profiles, I feel Arjun will wiggle his way out. And having delved a bit further into the position, initially it looked very concerning, but there are a few defensive possibilities I see for black. Like, for instance, if white plays d6, Arjun can take rook into e4 and get rid
That's
of,
very nice.
He gives up one pawn, but he gets back. He removes the most dangerous piece in White's position. So a lot of things that White also has to factor in. It's not so straightforward to win from here.
Agreed. I would be so much happy if this 7th rank was not weak, but I do absolutely agree with you. It's not easy for white to convert this, especially when your back rank is weak and some light squares can be a problem. So let's see how Arjun thinks is the best way to create resistance. And if d6 is okay, already a slight inaccuracy, I kind of get where Benjamin Book is coming from, because he saw d6 and rook takes e4. He was like, this is not easy. Let me defend the knight first.
Yeah, very mature play. He also has ideas of g4, trapping that bishop on h3. You play g4, you play knight f2, and suddenly the bishop has no place to go. So, pretty dangerous. Queen b6, I think good move. Gets rid of a few dangers. f5 was the threat, attacking the knights together. So king f2 protects the knight on e3 and make sure everything is stable in the center for the moment, and keeps a significant part of the advantage.
And वो plan जो g4 का आपने बताया is still on the cards, yeah? The bishop could get trapped in the endgame, so maybe you have to take a call on when you move it. And is this pawn weak or strong is the question. ये pawn उठा दो, I think the game is absolutely fine for Arjun. Let's see how he handles this. 4 minute versus 5 minute time पे हल्का सा lead right now. विदित की तीसरी game start होने वाली है in just 2 to 3 minutes. And yes, chat, Pranesh got eliminated by Vidit, although he did fight back vigorously. But last में वो गेम में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पाए and Vidit went through.
Bishop d7. The bishop had to escape from there. Knight c5, attacking the bishop. The bishop doesn't have a place to go, so the bishop needs to be protected, I think. Rook d8 makes sense, and Arjun plays that as well. The position looks really nice for white, though. Doesn't seem to be getting better for black, as long as the d5 pawn and those knights are there.
Agreed. And I think Arjun को यहाँ पे लंबा ड्रैग करना पड़ेगा गेम को if he wants to hold this. And chat करिए, show the madman. If you can have Arjun on the camera, that would be amazing. Of course, we'll try to do that chat for you. And पीछे I can see a fan behind Benjamin Shri. ऐसे मस्त ऐसे अपना जो होता है ना ऐसे पंखा पीछे चल रहा हो तो maybe that's also helping you feel a bit cool and relaxed. I don't know. I would love to try that out actually. अगर पीछे से ठंडी ठंडी हवा आ रही हो, maybe I'm going to play better chess.
हाँ, बट स्ट्रीम में मत कर लो.
वो आवाज आएगी, वो होती है ना पंखे वाली आवाज, वो
exactly. Look like we're going in a helicopter.
Agreed. And rook c1. Finally, ये rook आता है game में. This is where white is planning to bring the rook to the 7th rank maybe. Could have come to c2 as well to defend these pawns. So black कहते हैं यही है मौका मेरे पास, मौके पे चौका मारता हूँ. Let me pick up the a pawn. अगर a pawn मर गया श्री, then black has some counter play, right? Because then I can start pushing this pawn.
Yeah, and a4 is a very good move. Not just protects the a pawn, but also prevents bishop d5, which was also a threat attacking the e2 pawn. So protects two pawns at once. Rook c8. Yeah, rook
That's
c4 looks super
apparent.
strong.
Chat, basically आप अभी knight a6 नहीं मार सकते because knight was pinned. He defends the rook and now a6 को कह दो goodbye. It feels like Benjamin is on the verge of winning this first game, Shri. A huge upset.
Yeah, more than a6 pawn, the d7 bishops are in. The d7 bishop is endangered. And if you move that bishop, let's say bishop e8, then knight e6 check comes in and you lose the rook. So the bishop has no place to go. This is the biggest problem in Arjun's position right now. Position looks very bad. Bishop goes to h3, but now g4. g4 looks very strong.
Yeah, g4 is very strong. I think should be an automatic move for a strong player like Benjamin. Can he play it? And I think वो last के nerves जरूरी है Shri to convert this game. And he finds it. Arjun under a desperate situation here.
Absolutely desperate situation. Two knights, two passed pawns. I think he can even take knight into a6 here because the bishop on h3 is not going anywhere.
You're basically a piece up
Still
by the
need to
way
be
right
careful.
now because yep. Let's see what happens. Tough moment. 2 minutes although for Benjamin. थोड़े से nerves hold करने पड़ेंगे. This could be his chance to book his ticket to India, by the way, Shri, like because he has to travel to Mumbai all the way.
Yeah, that's going to be a long flight. I think he lives in St. Louis, so St. Louis to Mumbai, that's going to take a few different connections, especially now. A lot of transit points are not so easy to access.
Yeah. F5, okay. Bishop को आजाद करने की कोशिश, but I think maybe it's too little, too late. Already G5 feels
First
very
play
tempting.
D7. Just play D7, get out of that pin, push the rook away, and then.
Yep, this seems to be winning.
Oh, but maybe
Arjun
that is how I lose. I was thinking D7, rook d8, G5, but maybe something like F4, and that D7 pawn can be in trouble.
But it's check, no, Shri? It's check.
Yes, it's check.
And king, I don't know. You can't even approach easily actually because there's knight d5 and so on. But okay, we have moves. He played d7 by the way, rook d8.
Now, did he play G5?
No, he played rook d4 directly. So he just defends the pawn and says कि bishop का बाद में देखेंगे.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, knight c4 is a threat, and then you just play knight d6, knight b7, and have that pawn queen. So you're not worried about the bishop. You just have your priorities
Benjamin
clear
kind
and
of
white.
held his face in his hands, kind of calm himself down for a second there. भाई वो दिख रहा था कि उनको पता है कि completely winning है. थोड़ा सा आगे चलना है and ये गेम उनकी है. And अर्जुन के लिए कम बैक करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. H5 अर्जुन फिर से वो बिशप की आज़ादी के लिए फाइट करते हुए, but maybe it's too little too late. Knight C4, Knight E5 आ रहा है. It's just this pawn is too strong.
Yeah, this pawn is too strong. Knight c4, and I think I don't see how black continues the game.
Yeah, I think it is designs actually. It should be over actually. So Benjamin Bok about to win the first game, and this could be a huge win and a huge dent in Arjun's chances to qualify. उनको अगला game comeback करना पड़ेगा.
Crazy. In this semi-finals, we had two 30-year-olds playing against two players in their 20s. And so far, the players in their 30s have a 3.5 out of 4 score if Bok wins this one.
So experience matters, yeah, in those crunch moments, clearly. So chat, gain some experience by Karo. And by the way, Knight C4, rook hanging. Where do we even move the rook now? कोई square दिख नहीं रहा है मुझे. Rook C2, ठीक है, but Knight D5, Knight C6 में क्या करेंगे हम लोग? And now Arjun has to flag basically, yeah? That's the only hope.
Yeah, he can try, but 40 seconds, rook F4 check and rook into F3.
Yeah, I think this is designs. This should be designs. It's mate in 8 now. Arjun resigns and Benjamin takes home the point. Shri, kya hi badiya win. on demand with the white pieces, putting the pressure on the world number 8 back on his shoulders, and underdog strikes again.
I did not see that coming. I did not expect that. I thought Arjun was a significant favorite. I mean, despite Bok having won several games in their matchups in recent times, but it's esports World Cup. It's 10+0, and it's different. A lot of dynamics are being developed right now, and so far it's accuracy over speed.
Yep. And I think the next 2 games will start in just a minute. Yes, we'll be covering Norwich from tomorrow as well. Vidit did win 2 games, so I think वो काफी smoothly आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. रौनक को अपने nerves पीछे रखने पड़ेंगे. I think that's very crucial. And technically, we could still have both the matches end in just 3 games, unless Raunak and Arjun stage a comeback, which is never ever easy, because we saw it in the quarterfinals, right? 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2.5 half. जिसने lead ले ली, he kept on winning. It's very hard to turn the tide in these crunch matches.
Absolutely, it's very hard to turn the tide, especially when you're 2-0 down. We saw Pranesh raging a roaring comeback, but still it was not enough. He could win 1 game, and then he had a lot to cover in the second game as well, and at some point he slipped. He couldn't keep it going. So from here, for Raunak to come back, I think is going to be a superhuman task. Things are a little easier for Arjun though. He needs just 1 win to equalize the score, and that's very much possible.
Yep, it is definitely possible. He will have the white pieces in the next game. Raunak का task बहुत difficult है. उनको दोनों गेमें जीतनी है. But I think he's played very well in this event. So chances पूरे बने रहेंगे, and he's known to be very sharp as well in his calculations, and time management उनकी absolutely perfect रही है. So there's always hope. It's not over until it's over, until the final resignation is made. So Shri, I think we are moments away from the final 2 games, and knowing कि कौन से 2 लोग होंगे जो जाएंगे मुंबई. So final predictions. Is it going to be Benjamin and Vidit?
I think it's going to be Arjun and Vidit.
Oof. So a
I
comeback,
have changed. I think Arjun is in line for a comeback. Vidit, on the other hand, I don't see him losing from here. He had a similar situation against Pranesh. He's in flow. He's he's playing really good chess. He's seeing things better than his opponent. And in both the games against Raunak, he showed a superiority. Whereas against Pranesh, there were a few back and forth moments. His play seems to be getting better and better with each game.
Yep, agreed. And I think how does Benjamin tackle being in the lead? I think is also a question in my mind. कि कई बार क्या होता है ना कि आप किसी एक खतरनाक strong player से खेल रहे हो, and you think, okay, I'm the underdog, I'm just gonna give my best, and then you give your best and it works, and you're like, okay, ये नहीं होने वाला था, अब क्या करूँ? Like am I supposed to go for the draw and maintain my lead? ये सोचा ही नहीं इसके बारे में, because you've not even thought that far. I think you achieved your goal already, and now you're like, okay, now what do I do? Do I play it safe? Do I kind of go for the kill and try to finish it in 3 games? It's never easy to be in the lead as well. So let's see how Benjamin, can he use his experience to kind of navigate matters here, will be very, very crucial. I think we should be just moments away from liftoff. But yeah, मजा आएगा भाई. Players के दिमाग में अभी फिर से वही ख्याली पुकाव पकड़े होंगे ना. मतलब just thinking भाई Vidit was like, भाई अभी जल्दी चालू करो, खत्म करो, मतलब literally like this is getting done with, yeah.
Absolutely. But I think having a little bit of time to compose yourself is also not a bad thing in these kind of situations. But it certainly helps the person who is losing better, because it gives them time to reset. But then looking at how well Vidit and Bok are playing, it really inspires me. I should also play at least a little more of at least tournaments online, yeah.
Absolutely, भाई आजकल तो हर हफ्ते में इतने tournaments होते हैं, I think, and there's always opportunities, and I think whenever I play against stronger players, I think I get to learn a lot. So I would also love to play more. But yeah, let's see आज के लिए कौन स्टार होंगे. By the way, games begin in about 24 seconds, so you can do the countdown chat if I'm correct or not. तुक्का मारा है मैंने. Let's see if my तुक्का is correct. But 24 minutes it is. 24 seconds, sorry.
People are so hung on jet lag Benjamin. Man, कितना calculations.
भाई वो 2-3 दिन
I
पहले आ
think they
जाएगा
calculate
यार.
more than the players.
बेंजामिन ने भी सोचा भी नहीं है कि भाई मैं कहाँ से फ्लाइट लूंगा, कितने की फ्लाइट है, कितनी दूर घंटे की फ्लाइट, उसको नहीं पता होगा, बट चैट को पता है. सो बता दो भाई इट्सेल्फ कितने घंटे की फ्लाइट है, आप बता ही दो. इतना आपने तुम्हें घुसा दिया उसमें, वुड लव टू नो. एंड देयर वी सी बेंजामिन हैविंग अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर विद द फैन बिहाइंड हिम. आई एम ट्राइंग दिस श्री. बहुत जल्दी मैं कोई बुलेट खेलने बैठूंगा कभी रात को और पीछे फैन लगाऊंगा. वी ऑल्सो सॉ विदित एंड रौनक देयर. एक्सपेरिमेंट करना पड़ेगा. ओहो, learning from the greats, yeah.
I know, I'm totally inspired. I'm going to follow every step. Bok is similar to me in age and similar in rating as well. So, क्या पता, I mean.
एज वाला कैन रिलेट, रेटिंग वाला नहीं, बट एज से ही काम चला लेंगे. एंड by the way, the games have begun. Let's go chat. It's Arjun versus Benjamin that has begun. Let's jump to it. It is a Queen's Gambit. Let's have the board. Oof, अगर अर्जुन हार गए खत्म. That is the end.
But Sahil, let's have a look at the Vidit's game, because if that ends, we are going to have a result and qualifier pretty early on.
That's also fair. I think jumping to the Vidit game then. Okay, ये position में तो भाई वीडियो होल्ड कर लेगा. I've never seen Vidit lose a game in this structure आज तक हिस्ट्री में.
क्या ही हो रहा है? I'm perplexed by Raunak's strategy. He's playing as if he needs a draw to win this match.
Yeah, what's happening here?
And look at the speed at which he's playing. It's crazy.
Wait. They had the exact same draw yesterday. ये कल वाली गेम ही है क्या? ये क्या हुआ? Wait, what's happening?
Crazy.
Wow.
He's trying.
Okay, that's shocking actually, because they had the exact same game yesterday. Exact same game. So interesting decision. Maybe he thought he had no chance, yeah? But he had the white pieces. Could have pushed, no?
Yeah, you can always push. He just collapsed completely psychologically. I think he just lost the will to fight. He lost hope. And when that happens, you have no chance.
Yeah, or he had a flight to catch. Only two options, but I think he felt it. He didn't feel the right headspace. Happens. I think दो हारने के बाद it's very hard to come back. So that means if we can have the bracket, I think Vidit might be already through. In fact, he's already through to Mumbai, and he's already Mumbai. I have news. पहुंच चुके हैं मुंबई Vidit. He's already ready to play the finals. नहीं भाई कल बाद. Yeah, let's go to the other board. We have Arjun, by the way, the crucial game now. Who will be the second finalist?
Who will earn the right to play against Vidit for that one spot to the esports World Cup?
Yep. And E3 खेल दिया यहाँ पे उन्होंने. I think decent position for Arjun. I love the bishop pair. So maybe apparently G5 is the best move. Chat always जब भी G5 देखते हो, don't try it at home. ये ऐसी move है, because in many cases white might just sack and then it's going to be a nightmare to play. And even if he doesn't, bishop vapas, this is going to be a weakness forever. So unless you are very well versed with the opening theory, G5 casually mat khelna bhai.
Yeah.
And on the board.
I agree with that. But I just want to take a moment to appreciate how brilliant Vidit has been today. I didn't think he was going to blow his opponents away so much. Doing this at this point of his career, at this age, where he's facing opponents 10, 12 years younger than him, and who has played, I think, thousands of games more on chess.com than Vidit. Such a seamless performance today. Chat, this has to be, I think, the best esports performance that I've seen in the Indian qualifiers so far.
Wow, huge praise. And I think मैं बिल्कुल अग्री करता हूँ. I think Vidit जब भी कम बैक करते हैं ना भाई, तो बहुत बढ़िया खेलते हैं. I think मुझे बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट याद है जब उन्होंने थोड़े ब्रेक के बाद खेला हो. Like he will just play very well and win the event in many cases. So he's one step away now from that EWC spot श्री एक कदम दूर पहुंच चुके हैं अब विदित एंड लिटरली बस एक ही मैच उनको जीतना है ऑन 4th of July बट इन दोनों प्लेयर्स के लिए एक और हर्डल है बीच में एंड बाय द वे क्वीन B3 माइनर एरर अर्जुन की तरफ से एंड बिशप F5 बेस्ट मूव प्लेड बाय बेंजामिन बोक.
Kyle, you remember when I was talking about how sometimes we forget the basics and how it's important to develop your pieces in the opening. Arjun has not done that. His kingside pieces are completely undeveloped, and that is exactly why the computer is also not too happy with how his play has been so far. He has been prioritizing other things. With Queen B3, he attacked the B7 pawn, but Black doesn't care. If you open lines, it gives easier access against the White King for the Black's pieces. So he's too happy to do it. And Arjun needs to find a way to get his pieces into the action. He needs to find a way to develop his pieces and get into the game. So far in all the 3 games, Arjun has not got anything from the opening, which has been pretty impressive by Bok.
Yeah, agreed. And look at Bok's expressions. I think he is still, trying to figure out the position. Chat, कई बार क्या होता है ना, because it's not like these guys have played this exact position before. And in fact, this position has never been played before on chess.com. Bishop yaha ho ya yaha ho, that alone can change the character of the position completely. And he does go for Queen B7. So, if he has said A, he is going for B. But iska matlab, again, he's delaying what you said. Castling delay kar rahe hain, and this can be extremely double-edged.
Yeah, extremely double-edged, and also I feel a bit unwarranted considering the situation. It's not a must win. He's not 2-0 down. He's 1.5 down, which means if he can find a position to try and press for a win without risking so much, it gives them strategically better chances. But here he's throwing caution to the wind, and this also means there is a risk that Arjun gets knocked out in this very game.
Wow, that would be huge. And yes, chat, the final वो होगा July 4th को, आज नहीं है. And yes, I don't think Vidit has been signed by an esports team. That could happen now because he's one step away. And meanwhile, Queen B7 के बाद the knight is attacked. Knight को हिलना है. I think the knight can move forward. Knight A5 with potentially coming to B3 and C4 in the future. Also, there is Queen F6 apparently. Just defending the knight this way, connecting the rooks. He goes for Knight A5 and now Queen comes back to B4. And apparently only move C6 makes a lot of sense, right? Because knight defend करना है.
Definitely. It makes a lot of sense. But the only thing, tricky thing for Black is he has to understand he has long-term strategic compensation. Panic नहीं होना चाहिए कि I'm a pawn down.
Yeah, agreed. I think C6 थोड़ा calm लग रहा है कि भाई I have to get my pawn back now. ऐसा बहुत होता है श्री. I think sometimes if sacked a pawn and I'm not aware of the theory, you feel like अभी वापस ले लूँ या फिर अभी attack launch करना है. There's only one of those two options, but sometimes the advantage can be long term and it's enough. For example, right now again, has Arjun castled? If he had castled, I can literally copy this position, put the bishop on E2 and castle. I'm sure white will be like much better. इतने से ही इतना फर्क पड़ जाता है.
Definitely. So it's not easy. It's not easy for Black, I think, here to play C6. So उसके पास other options, but other options क्या है? Because Knight C6 doesn't feel so great. He can sacrifice another pawn with C5, try and open more lines against the king on E1, considering that that is the weak spot in White's position. So this also feels natural. Yeah, get that queen on E5 and
ये 3 पॉन तो लग रहे हैं. ये 3 पॉन बहुत वीक लग रहा है. And he does go C5. He does go C5. You're absolutely on point, Shri. And now Knight C6 on the board. So basically, Black is saying ये 3 पॉन जो हैं, they are very, very weak. And chat, we're going to switch to the brackets for a second because we want to show you what has happened so far today. We started with 8 players. We saw demolition by one player in every single match. We had 4 informed players reach the semi-finals. And then Vidit Gujarati just played fantastic chess to crush Raunak 2.5. I don't know last में वो fight क्यों नहीं किया, but I think maybe the losses were too painful to handle. And Vidit has gone to the grand finals. Very OP in the chat once. Let's go, man. Beautiful play by Vidit today.
Absolutely. Let's go VDOP.
And now
Sometimes,
we are
Sahil,
back. Huh.
mentally you lose energy to fight on. It's like, imagine chess is like a mental version of boxing, right? And each loss feels like a punch mentally to your brain, and you just lose the will to continue. Like, why does a boxer get knocked out? Why can't they get up? They have so much physical strength, but it's a combination of everything, right? You just lose the will to continue on. You just can't. You can't beyond a certain point. And it can very easily happen in chess. It can happen in any sphere of life. You need a mental strength, you need mental resilience, and chess is very, very, very can be painful.
अग्रीड एंड आई थिंक वही रेजिस्टेंस यहाँ पे दोनों प्लेयर्स को जो हमारे सामने है उनको भी रखनी है. क्वीन B5, दे हैव टू बिलीव इन देमसेल्व्स, स्पेशली अर्जुन हु इज ट्रेलिंग. क्वीन B5 अटैक्स द नाइट, सो कैसे डिफेंड करेंगे बेंजामिन? आई डोंट थिंक रुक C8 इज अ गुड मूव, एटलीस्ट मुझे नहीं लगती, बिकॉज आई वुड लव टू प्ले रुक B8 इंस्टेड and try to get the rook to the 7th rank. And यहाँ पे F2 is a soft point, C3 is a soft point. Let's see how Benjamin tackles
Queen
this.
F6.
Time पे, yeah, that I love actually, pressuring this as well. That'd be very nice actually. Some pressure.
Yeah,
here,
Queen
defending
F6.
this.
That looks like a good move. But yeah, that rook is for that rook to come to B8, you need to play H5 and H4 as black, because as long as his bishop is on G3,
Acha,
he's
हाँ,
never
yeah.
going to allow that rook
Yeah,
to
I
come to
completely
B8.
forgot about that bishop, yeah. And that ये होता है भाई, जब 4-5 घंटे कमेंट्री हो तो भाई you forget about the bishop, and this is what could happen to the players as well. भाई मतलब it's easy to forget, yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget, and it happens to players. It happens when you're under intense pressure. You're constantly solving things. Also in esports, you're constantly staring at the screen, concentrating for hours together. That also gets very tiring. I experienced that yesterday. At some point, I was making such basic blunders towards the end of the event because I was just simply too tired to continue. So it's a very, very real phenomenon. These things are physiological, right? It's not imagined things.
Yep, absolutely. And now Queen F6 जो हम सोच रहे थे on the board आ चुका है, and literally Knight D4 इकलौती चाल थी to even continue the game. So this can get very tricky, and Arjun of course was ready for it, and you can see he played it quickly. He wants to put pressure on the clock, and it seems to be working, Shri, because Bishop D7, a minor error, although it looks very natural, right? Because I'm threatening some discover attacks, but now I can move the queen back, and I've kind of defended a bunch of my weaknesses, and maybe I'm ready to finally castle.
Yeah. It seems to be working. The black pieces are all gone back. And it's hard to actually suggest a significantly better way for black. He played all natural moves. And if Arjun can get these two moves, Bishop D3 and Castle, somehow he succeeds in doing that, those extra pawns will count.
Yeah, and it's not easy to get to these pawns. You can get to 1, but you won't get to 2. And Arjun is right now thinking, 1.5 minute की lead. Ooh.
Is this a blunder? Is it simply because black can take knight into c5? Yeah. Is there something more sophisticated to it? I can see why it's a bad move though. I mean, you're just moving your queen multiple times, right? You could have done it once, queen b2, and anyway black would take a knight into c5. But here you're giving black one extra tempo, so I can understand that logic. But I guess Arjun just wants to push that knight backwards, just get that knight to c5 and then come back with the queen. Or does he want to go queen c7 and try and trade the queen? That looks wrong.
By the way,
Wow!
knight c3, best move
found
in
it.
the position. A brilliancy. And if you pick up the bishop, knight takes d4 is another beautiful move. You cannot take this. Bishop d3 is the only way to continue. If you take this, rook f8, and Shri, you warned Arjun about this a few moves back.
Yep, absolutely. King safety is very important, Sahil. You need to develop your pieces. For those who are watching in the opening, develop your pieces. And first, get your king safe and then get more adventurous.
भाई ये तो मुझे अवध वर्सेस विशिष्ट की गेम की याद आ गई, लिटरली ऐसी हालत थी. बट ओके, नाइट C3 ऑन द बोर्ड, लिटरली यही पोजीशन थी. आई शो यू द गेम, बट नाइट C3 ऑन द बोर्ड एंड नाउ द बेस्ट मूव इज apparently क्वीन A6. वेरी हार्ड टू प्ले इट एज वेल. क्वीन D7 स्टिल वर्क्स, बट नाइट D4 के बाद बिशप D3 खेलना है. भाई कूडोस टू बेंजामिन बोक कि ऐसी चालें निकालना. इट्स एक्सट्रीमली, व्हेन यू आर इन द लीड you don't want to play complicated stuff, you want to hold on to your lead. He's going full in, all in every game.
Basically, white has to make sure that black doesn't take knight into d4 at any cost. Yeah, play queen a6, pin that queen, prevent knight into d4 from happening, and then just hope for the best.
This is tough, tense moments for Arjun. I don't know if he can get his camera somehow. That would be amazing. Not that we would see something crazy with his expressions, but just to kind of see the contrast between the players. And we can see the bullet time there absolutely under 3 minutes now. This is getting very, very sharp. And Arjun has been thinking for a long time, Shri. He missed knight C3 clearly.
Yeah. Like I said, Sahil, it's better to think before trouble rather than after trouble. I think that's something Vidit showed beautifully today. And Bok is also showing. It's accuracy over speed so far. That has been the theme of the day. But if he takes his time, I'm pretty sure he'll find Queen A6.
Yeah, and chat debate करिए. 4 है कि 5 है. chat 4 जुलाई है finals. The date was shifted, so 4 जुलाई अभी वो होगा I think मुंबई में. And Vidit is confirmed to be in the finals. 50% chance for him to get that EWC spot, and of course a chunk of that huge prize pool that we have for the event. Now it's about the second spot, the second guy who faces Vidit in the finals. And Queen A6, Arjun misses the move but now stabilizes and best Chal Nikali to not allow knight takes D4, pinning it.
Showing his strength. If that's a tricky part though. Do you play fast or do you play correct? How does black continue now though, Sahil?
Ooh, good question actually. Very good question.
For me, I was thinking rook f8. Is that a good move?
Yeah, looks very natural, no? Because I'm putting my rook opposite your king. Now even queen takes d4 could be a threat. So makes a lot of sense to me, rook f8. Like it should be the automatic move. If I'm playing bullet chess, I would play it in 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. As black, you need to make it as difficult as possible for white to get this bishop and castle, bishop d3 and castle. So you have to try and keep creating threats with each move. And he has gone for rook f8. The threat is queen into d4, knight into c6 taken instantly, bishop into c6, bishop d3, now d4.
What?
Is it a move?
Look at the best move. Look at the best move, Shri. Look at the best move. What?
That would be crazy if he plays it. That would be super crazy. That would be like an unbelievable brilliancy. Oh my god.
Oh, there is no way he finds
He's
knight
taking
to
his time
e2.
though.
If he should not take too much time, he has less than a minute. Arjun ne, by the way, he found two only moves. Knight takes c6 was the only move and bishop d3 was the only move. So he's holding on for dear life, but now knight e2 is the only move for black to equalize. Oh, he doesn't find it. He doesn't find it. Benjamin pressure. Yeah. Wow, man. What a move.
Is this the game turning, Sahil? Is this where Arjun takes the lead? But it's rook c1, good move. The rook was attacked. He moves the rook. He also defends the c5 pawn. And that's also a significant time advantage opening up. So Bok is under significant pressure. Once white castles, I feel very safe about Arjun's position.
Yeah, I think this looks very safe now. He can just castle. Great move. And I think like itne pins hai na yahan pe, Shri, I think first of all, and look at this, already a mistake. Jab time nahi hota na bhai, like when you have 60 seconds, 30 seconds as Benjamin has, I mean logic goes out of the window. I think you just kind of play on instinct, and your instinct in these crazy positions will not be accurate on every move. So bishop c4 काफी logical लग रहा है देखने में.
Yeah, bishop c4, but लेकिन bishop d5 है.
Bishop d5.
It's okay though. Right. But I think there should be something better for white. He goes for bishop c4, bishop d5, queen a4 also played.
Look at this. यहाँ पे he could have sacked the queen. Bishop d5. That was the best way to play.
That
Okay,
pawn is
no chance of that
unstoppable.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That would have been crazy. But okay, this is what we have. And this is slightly better for Arjun, I would say. Not sure if it's enough to win though, because the king is rather weak. What do you think of this position, Sri, this endgame?
Now, here the clock takes over, Sahil. So white is better. It's easier for him to play. And also the 20-second, the double the time advantage, I think it pretty much decides the game in Arjun's favor. It's
Oh, wow.
decisive.
Yep. And now I think the c6 pawn is also free. Pushes that pawn. Rook c7. Will he trade queens now? I think queen trade would basically ensure a win if he plays quickly, I think. There's no way he takes it. Yeah, he goes for the endgame.
Yeah, he goes for the endgame. He has these two passers. It's so easy to lose with black here, even if you have time. Without time, it's pretty much impossible to survive this.
Yeah. Rook c4, keeping it simple and safe, improving the position as much as possible. King coming up to attack this pawn. Rook d4. Ooh, now you can take and play, I think, rook b6, and that's just winning on the spot because my king can walk up now.
Pawn
Oh, wait,
is
what?
winning.
Ooh, blunder.
Yeah, the pawn and game is
could have
winning.
taken-
Just king f5,
Yeah,
king f6.
yeah. Yep. I think, okay, you can push a6 now.
Yeah, now
Benjamin
it's
tries, yeah? He's trying for
comprehensively
stalemate.
winning.
He's trying for stalemate. Bhai, dhyan se, huh? You have to be careful sometimes.
Yeah, he's just
Okay.
not going to push any of the. He's not going to push the G pawn, I think.
I think he will push the G pawn, मुझे लग रहा है. भाई अटक गया भाई, केवल होता है.
Yeah, G4 pawn, but not the G2 pawn.
हाँ,
They're playing so fast that the broadcast is not able to keep up. Huh?
हाँ.
King f3, king f1, queen h1 is made.
Yeah. He plays G5. Yeah. How does he finish off? Okay, now it's simple, I think. You can just walk the king up. You can pre-move king e3. Yeah, I think he's going to win this one. And there it is, Milton won and Arjun has won. Shri, what a comeback on demand. And now it's 1.5 each.
Yeah, 1.5 each, but Arjun is the one with the momentum. He has a tough loss for Burke. He had his chances. He knew that he had a good position. It's all the more tough to cope up with a loss like this. And he has very, very, very less time to be able to recover from this. So I think a big advantage to Arjun in terms of the match situation. And I think there's not a lot of time in between the games, yeah?
It's already begun. And chat, it's all or nothing now. One game, if it's a draw, we go into Armageddon tiebreaks. And if it's not a draw, then one guy directly goes to the finals. It could be the final match for today. Let's have the board. Arjun with the black pieces, Benjamin with the white pieces, and it's all or nothing. And right now, the ball is in Benjamin's court because he suffered the last defeat, Srinath. And ऐसा लग रहा है position बढ़िया लग रही है white की, pressure on c7 already.
Yeah, the Nimzo Indian defense played by Arjun and Bob playing the Queen C2 Nimzo Indian, which is a signature opening. And Savi, you know, when you're in tough times, a good opening preparation helps immensely because you don't even need to think in those situations. That's what happened in the Anand Gulf and World Championship match when Vishy went down by 1 point. He was immediately able to strike back in just 17 moves in the next game because he had fantastic opening preparation, and that's something that helps immensely. And you don't need you need a lot of hard work to build up that kind of preparation, but it helps.
Yeah, and I think what does black do? The fact that Arjun is thinking for so long tells you that maybe this is not something he's looked at in depth, Shri. So let's see what he does. Apparently c5 is the only move for him to even, pretend that it's close to equal. So castles would lose the pawn, and c6, of course, you could just take and take. So not an easy choice. Benjamin seems to have the upper edge right now.
Yeah, but it's very slight. It's very tiny. I think it's not something to worry too much about for black. White has some pressure on this side, but he's still undeveloped. So there's a lot to play on in this position, and a lot of moves that White needs to make before his position becomes stable.
But I don't like this f3 move by Benjamin. It feels like it's too risky. I don't know if the engine likes it, but it feels rather you are weakening a bunch of squares. Maybe you win a pawn, but if things go wrong, you will just lose this as White, I feel. Like you have to be very accurate now. Knight e6, by the way, the only move. I think Benjamin is very well prepared. That's why he's comfortable heading off to this. And अर्जुन इतना टाइम ले रहे हैं, थोड़ा डर लग रहा है मुझे अर्जुन के लिए कि मे बी ओपनिंग प्रिपरेशन वाइज एंड सी ऑलरेडी अ बिग मिस्टेक बाय अर्जुन.
हाँ, बट मेरे को इतना डर नहीं लग रहा है, बिकॉज आई लुक एट द पोजीशन एट सम पॉइंट Boke's preparation has to run out. He cannot be prepared all game, and once it runs out, even if black loses a pawn, his pieces are relatively outside more, and I think piece activity is very important. Once you have your pieces out more, it feels easier to play with that side. So in that sense, I feel Arjun's position doesn't look as bad as what the engine shows.
Yeah, I saw Benjamin scratching his head literally. Bata, move, bhai, bata, kya chalu, bhai, literally. I think, and sometimes I think he knows कि यहाँ पे PC5 गलती है बिकॉज उन्होंने ओपनिंग देखी है अच्छे से, बट उनको शायद ना पता हो कैसे गलती है. That's something he might not remember, and sometimes that can be a problem as well. And Queen C5 feels like an automatic move though. What is he thinking? What could be the drawback behind this move?
Knight e6.
Knight e6, maybe another check here.
Bishop d7.
Another pawn. I'm just gobbling up pawns. Yeah, I'm
Knight
hungry.
c6.
By the way,
I don't mind. So I played.
He doesn't do it. He played bishop g5, a mistake from Boke. Queen c5 now, and Arjun is back in the game.
Yeah, he did not want to allow all those black pieces to come out, and I think maybe he judges this position also as comparatively okay for him. But it's very tricky, Sahil. You need to be able to develop your pieces again. The f1 bishop, the g1 knight. As long as they don't come out, the position never feels totally safe. In a classical game, with time, you have time to calculate these things, but here you cannot calculate. And it's not easy to play these things without calculation.
I agree. Although I'm kind of, Arjun must be sad that he doesn't have a dark square bishop, because then he could just dominate these dark squares, literally put the bishop on e3 if allowed to. So it's harder for him to create counterplay. But if you count the number of pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you count these number of pawns. So White is a pawn up. But I think he needs to prove his compensation. If White can simply develop, similar to what Arjun had last game, right? If White can just develop, I think White will be winning. So where's the counterplay coming from for Black, Sri?
I think first castle, yes, that's what he does. Good move, good move, Arjun, good job. I think next knight to f6. Whenever White plays something like e3, I have rook e8, so I'm going to make it difficult for you on this side. And otherwise, my pieces are automatically coming. They are developing.
Yep.
It's more a question of how White is going to bring his pieces out.
Agreed. And development रोकनी है. Look at this, knight h3. So एक piece तो game में आया, लेकिन इसमें problem ये है, कल को when this knight moves, I can take here, and then your structure could be damaged. So it's still not a foolproof square per se for White. But now the engine is suggesting बस knight f4 खेलो, pawn के पीछे जाओ. Like engine को development की पड़ी नहीं है भाई. Very hard for Benjamin to do the same though.
E3 is very important move, good move. I wonder what Arjun has in mind. Some knight e5. Is he going to sacrifice something here? Because queen f5 I did not like so much last move.
Agreed. Because bishop d3 is incoming, so knight e5 kind of stops that. काफी logical move है. But once you play this, d5 square hanging है. So it has to be calculated. He plays it by on the board. Arjun going all in by result very likely. I don't think we'll see tie breaks here.
Knight f4, very good move by Boke. Abhi he has this d5 square, d5 pawn, which is very weak. The knight comes into the game. Knight into d5 is a threat, and whenever he gets time, he's going to play bishop e2 and short castle. So Arjun he's now significantly facing some problems.
Chat, question to you. Arjun, Boke, 1.5 each. Arjun is a pawn down, about to lose the second one. Is it the end of the road for the India number one? Will he go down to Benjamin Bok? Yes or no? Or if no, then that means Arjun has to at least draw this. Do you think Benjamin is going to win this? Yes or no? Shri, do you think Arjun strikes back now or is it over?
I want Arjun to strike back Sahil, but heart says Arjun, but mind says Bok, because Bok has actually played better than Arjun in all 4 games so far. If you look at pure quality of games.
Yeah, agreed. Arjun can go to tie breaks, yes, but he needs a draw. And he's going to be 2 points down. So it's not going to be easy to hold that draw, because once white castles, sure, there is one weakness, but I'm going to be 2 points. Okay, he defends the d5 pawn. Maybe Arjun thinks, okay, if I lose 2, it's going to be hard to kind of claim compensation. Maybe practically a good decision there, Shri.
It's the only way, I think. He has to save the d5 pawn. More importantly, he cannot allow that knight to come to d5. Bishop d3 is a good move. I would have preferred bishop e2 though. But I think bishop d3 is totally fine. Attacks the queen with the tempo. Next move, short castle is incoming. And knight into d3, this is also a good trade. So I guess he will take with the knight. But there are a few concrete problems here for white. Knight into d3, there's rook c8. So he goes queen into d3. He's keeping that safe pawn up, and that knight on f4 is significantly better than that bishop on e6. So even if it goes into an endgame in the future, he's making sure that he will not lose while he tries to win. That's maturity.
Agreed. And basically this bishop is very bad, chat, because अपने ही pawn से blocked है, and because ये pawn weak है, पूरी game में इसका एक ही काम है to defend this pawn. Literally, it's totally possible कि game की final resign position में उसे 2-3 चाल पहले bishop यहीं पड़ा होगा. That's the sad part. While the knight can maneuver, come here, come here, come here, come here, like it has all prospects, but bishop का काम एक ही है. And by the way, we are in an endgame now. King d2 looks like it's very close to winning, Shri. Very, very close to winning for Benjamin.
King d2, I'll set some problem with rook c4.
Rook c4 is nice. Let's see if he goes for it. Rook c4, or maybe just knight e2.
Rook c4, I think the problem is b3 suddenly. I think you can just go b3 here. Rook into d4, king e3 is trapped.
Oh, that's the problem. The rook is trapped. I think Bok is going to find b3. If he finds b3, he's officially winning now, objectively winning.
Yeah, he's objectively winning, because then the rook comes to c1, and once you take over the only open file in the position, it's at best it looks like a draw for Arjun. But it's very instructive how white has eliminated the possibility of black winning. Yeah, he took decisions in such a way that strategically he goes into a position which is so safe for him.
Okay, knight e2,
Knight
also
E2.
a nice move though. Yeah.
Because you're coming rook
this looks
c1 on the next move.
Yeah, and I think in that endgame, I think I would give Benjamin full chances to win. If it's a knight versus bishop endgame, I think it's lost with the outside passed pawn, king close to the center. I think it's completely lost. So Arjun has to maintain rooks on the board. Maybe b4, a5
B8.
could be his last counterplate attempt.
Yeah, I'm also looking at b4, a5, and I'm curious what Bok will do there. Maybe some rook b1 there. Rook hb. Simply rook c1. He calculates a into b4, that's rook into c4, b into c4, and now a into b4. So you don't even have that c file
And
anymore.
the back rank is the problem. That's the problem. You can't take that pawn. So अगर king यहाँ f8 पे होता, I think Arjun would have neutralized. Yeah, h6 होता, I think would have been equal, but not really. Rook at c1, best moves. And I want to highlight the accuracy. 90.2 for Arjun, 94.9 for Benjamin. So he's clearly been the stronger player in this game as well.
Yeah, he's played spectacularly. Knight into c1, good choice. That knight goes to d3, I think, in the future. But you have to be careful. Knight d3, immediately there's some bishop f5. Knight e5. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, because there's knight
Goes for
d7.
Knight e5, rook into b4, rook a8 check. King e7, knight c6 check.
Yes. So knight e5, if you take the pawn, check, king e7, and this check. basically ends the game. So Arjun can't really do it. But he doesn't play it. He plays rook a4. But the rook endgame also should be
also
winning, I
works.
think. But it may be a better chance.
I don't think so. I think bishop into d3, king into d3, the game might be pretty much over because black loses one more element, one more complex element that goes for it.
Yeah.
King
He
c3,
goes for
this
it.
looks very depressing.
Yeah, it is absolutely depressing because I think king यहाँ पे आएगा, then the white rook becomes active. d5 is weak. अगर ये pawn यहाँ होता, maybe I would be more hopeful, but I think looks completely lost. Time-wise, do you think time could be a factor here for that would work in Arjun's favor, Shri?
Almost equal. It's 30 seconds, very minimal difference, I think. But let's see. Arjun, maybe he sees something that we don't. He's Arjun for a reason.
Yeah, b5 would be a blunder. For example, rook b1 already goodbye keh do pyade ko, and it's a draw, so you can't push it instantly. Thoda maybe rook activation first, give a couple of checks, gain some. Okay, there's no gaining of time actually. वो भी एक ये ना भाई देख, no increment always keeps you on your toes. कुछ भी हो सकता है कभी. We saw like Pranesh blunder an entire rook, right? I think against Vidit. Like anything can happen.
Yep, anything can happen. Now, I think now he can play b5, but he should play b5. Rook c4, there's rook a4.
Very interesting. Played.
And if rook t1, then the white king just marches forward. King b4, rook d4, king c5.
You take, and then I move the king forward, and I think it's too much to handle. This is very hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
because-
even if there was a draw here, it's impossible to find for black.
Yeah, and also the depressing part is at best you can get a draw in these types of positions. Because there is no element to create complexity with. He goes h5 because in the future, if he can get those g2 and h2 pawns, he has some lead there. I would probably give a rook a7 check here as white to take the king away from the b pawn, and then push my king forward and try and get the b pawn to queen as quickly as possible. Once that b pawn queens, it's game over.
Yep. And Arjun, I think, can you qualify through other ways? Yes. I mean, there's the last chance qualifier, I think, which is going to happen. So that could be a chance. And of course, I don't know if CCT leaderboard is fixed. I mean, I don't know if there's any chance via that path as well, because, there are chances. There are chances to qualify. But अगर यहाँ हार जाएंगे, that means Benjamin Boak will be flying to India, Shri, and battling with it in the finals.
Yeah, just like what our chat wanted.
या उनकी फ्लाइट भी रेडी कर रही है चैट ने. चैट तो पूरी रेडी है भाई. उनकी फ्लाइट, लेओवर कहाँ से, कौन सा लॉन्च में बैठना है उन्हें, कौन सा खाना खाएंगे, सब चैट रेडी करके बैठी है.
हाँ, I think Lufthansa शायद शेफर होगा इस situation.
Yeah, Arjun, by the way, up on the clock. Okay, he's still preventing this, but I mean, why can't I just push the pawn already?
You have to push the pawn as quickly as possible, and thoda sa you have to calculate 1-2 moves. But it seems like a very safe margin for white.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time to pick up both, right? If I could pick up both, maybe I would still think I have something, because even if I pick this up, I still don't have a pass pawn. So this is just done, I think. And if you move here, then white just mops the field completely. So unfortunately, I think this is the end for Arjun's run, and Benjamin Boak will be the guy to go to the finals. That's, I mean, totally unexpected. I think he's been the underdog in both his games, and he's kind of come out on top.
Yeah, it's a crazy upset, and it's not even like Boak got lucky or something. He's shown convincing better play in a match of 4 games.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. And I think Arjun trying some last things, so basically forcing the king कि वो pawn के आगे जाके बैठ जाए. So अपने pawn को खुद ही वो king रोक दे, ताकि he gets some time to pick up these 2 pawns. That's what he's hoping for. But usually it's not enough. To create any chances whatsoever. B7, I mean, you're queening by force now. So don't see any reason why
So Rook versus
This should be,
these pawns.
yeah.
Actually, it's
This
Rook
can be
versus a
tricky
lone
in
pawn.
Yeah, this can be tricky in some cases, but maybe this is not one of those cases, yeah?
Yeah, with 45 seconds, that's my last ray of hope. But you see, the thing is, it's not even a connected passer. That H pawn is a lone passer. The moment it crosses H3, the rook will come in and prevent it from advancing forward. And so I think white can play king c6 here. He's just doing some calculation just to be sure. Uh, if you play f5 to try and make connected passer, I'll play rook h7 from that side. H3, I think here I can just come
Yeah.
rook a2, rook h2 and take the pawn. He
Basically,
doesn't
if
even need
these
to do
pawns
that.
were not
King
there,
c5.
if these pawns were not there, maybe he would have a chance, yeah? I think of holding this. But with these two pawns included, I can just pick this up, push this pawn, and your first pawn, whichever tries to dance around, I can always pick this up in emergencies. So I think this is designed for Arjun, and that means Arjun is not going to go to the finals and he misses out on an opportunity to qualify to the EWC, Shri. That's it?
Yeah. The saddest part about this is Vidit Arjun match would have been such a spectacle.
Yeah. But Benjamin Boak, what a match. I think he's dominated this, entirely. 2.5, 1.5 win over Arjun Erigaisi. And there's not like like a crazy expression, like imitating Arjun in his expressions a little bit. Like no crazy, joy on his face or anything. He's like, it's routine, it's business. I've done this a million times. I'm going to do it again. And beautiful play by, I think, Benjamin today.
Really. Clinical play by Benjamin. Showing again the theme, you have to play good chess even if it's 10+0. You can't just flag your opponent, you can't just win on time.
Yeah, and this means Shri, हमारे पास हमारे दो finalists हैं, and you can see those names is Vidit Gujarati from India and it's Benjamin Boak from Netherlands. दो खिलाड़ी and एक final और एक EWC spot on the line. 50% odds for each player. And as we can see, Shri, we can never ever predict कि कौन जीतने वाला है.
Absolutely, Sadhu. What a brilliant play and what an upset by Bok. I'm still in awe. And meanwhile, with it, such seamless play, 5 wins out of 7 games, 5.5 out of 7 today.
Yeah, this is insane. And I think Vidit, by the way, also let's not forget how well he played today. It was amazing to follow his games. Literally, Raunak did not even try against him, Shri. Like, that match was insane. So, Vidit, Bok will be fighting it out on 4th of July. And there you see the bracket. At the end, 2 names fighting for glory.
And Vidit and Bok, that's going to be an exciting encounter as well, Sam. They have played all the way back to World Under 14. In which I also played, in which Vidit won the World Under 14 Championship. I played against Bok in the last round in that tournament and against Vidit in the 7th round. So, 2 childhood rivals and a super exciting grand finals in Mumbai.
Agreed. And I mean, just look at the journey they've gone through, yeah? I mean, first of all, we had that demolition by Raunak against the candidate Matthews Blubam. Then he reaches the semi-finals and gets destroyed by Vidit. So it's like we had so many stars playing amazing chess and ek se upar ek, nele ke upar dehla, and suddenly we thought Arjun is a clear favorite, but he gets outplayed by Benjamin Boak in this crucial semi-final. And I mean, we have had so much fun, covering this event, but it's not the end until it's over. One final game, the grand final, will happen on July 4th. It is India rising indeed, and I think Vidit has, kind of rise the most, Shri. Risen the most.
Absolutely. Vidit has risen the most and has been a great representative for the India rising name.
And Chad, I think it's maybe the perfect time to ask for your predictions for the final. It is Vidit and Benjamin. You've seen both players kind of cruise through in their matchups. I think today, of course, there were a couple of ifs and buts in both players, but I think overall they played smoothly. क्या लग रहा है भाई? क्या होगा finals में? Chat your prediction for the winner and the guy who finally gets that spot at the EWC. Shri, your prediction.
My prediction, my support, heart, mind, everything for Vidit. Vidit, a good friend, and also I feel objectively he's slightly stronger than Bok. Although the way Bok played today against Arjun, it's hard. It's hard to count him out against anyone in the world. Arjun being one of the finest players in this format and in general, but nevertheless, I think I give an edge to Vidit. What are your thoughts, Sahil?
आई थिंक आज मैंने कुछ सीखा लाइफ में. मुझे लगता है मैंने सीखा कि भाई प्रिडिक्शन करना इज लाइक ट्राइंग टू शूट एट द मून विद द डार्ट. आई मीन इट्स गोइंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन बट एट सम पॉइंट विल फॉल अपार्ट. सो मुझे लग रहा है कि इन दोनों प्लेयर्स ने जिस तरह खेला है, इट्स वन थिंग इज गारंटीड कि कुर्सी की एज पे हम लोग बैठे होंगे इन द फाइनल्स, जैसे हम आज बैठे हैं, जैसे हम कल बैठे थे. एंड श्री, आई एम एक्साइटेड फॉर द फाइनल्स. जो भी जीतेगा, मे द बेस्ट मैन विन and qualify to the EWC. So chat, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the coverage and the games. They were, tense moments throughout. हम आएंगे वापस, of course, on July 4th. And Shri, any final words before we end?
It was lovely. It was lovely commentating with you, Sahil, and lovely to be with the chat. And it was lovely to see such brilliant play, such beautiful games, and such sacrifices and changes in momentum. That was super exciting. It was lovely to be part of it. Thank you so much, chat. Thank you, everyone. And see you at the finals.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, Shri, for the amazing commentary. And thank you for the GeoBlast team for this amazing broadcast. We'll see you, of course, at the finals. Take care, chat. Till then, bye-bye and good night.